But the great year in actuality is not what we have turned it into in our conversations. The great year is really predicated on the seven pole stars. It's not dealing with the astrology of the 12 solar constellations. I don't know how many of you know that.
Would that change anything with the as above, so below, or its effects on us as humans,
Yeah,
dealing with
because
that type of knowledge?
well, here, let me go down here and get the actual facts. But when you look at Churchward, page 150 in the religion book, he actually breaks it down because the stellar boys are the ones that determined and figured out the great year, which is, the wobble of the earth around the poles, right?
Right.
But there's only seven pole stars. There's not 12. So we're not at base 12 yet. We're still at seven. And the last of the seven is Hercules.
What's up, brother Eric?
Tell
What
me
up?
this, Phil. Phil, let me ask you this. I hear what you're saying, but when you look at the so-called astrology and you get those 12, like the 12 months in the year, and they got a what I'm trying to say, a thing for each month.
Age?
You have age for each month, like January, February, March, they got a zodiac sign, astrological sign for each month.
Okay.
And that's the 12 that I'm used to, that I'm kind of familiar with.
Well, see, that's the 12 that everybody is accustomed to talking about, which is astrotheology. But the great year is based upon stellar, it's not based upon solar. So each one of the signs or ages in the great year is actually 3,689 years long. It's not the 2150 based on the 12 that we're using at all. And the constellations are not the ones we're talking about. Hercules is number 7. Now, Hercules is not a part of the 12 constellations in our zodiac. You see what I'm saying? And when Hercules disappeared, that was the fall of man. In reality, that actually happened. When the deluge happened, that's where the deluge story comes from. That's where the fall of man comes from, etc. So you have to delineate the two things and say, this is based upon something that the old priesthood developed hundreds of thousands of years ago. Solar is really kind of contemporary with respect to what the stellar boys actually did hundreds of thousands of years before this. And so as you go down through these different stages from stellar to lunar to solar, everything gets altered a little bit. Okay. Now, the problem is, as they say, each one of the new groups, when they get away from the origin of this, which would be on the continent of Africa. So now you're in the Americas, you're in Europe, you're in Asia, blah, blah. Well, you begin to generationally, you lose some of the authenticity of what the stuff really was in its purest form and what it really meant. You see what I'm saying? And that's where we have to try to go back and connect the dots and go, this is not what they were saying. I mean, see, that's why I asked a question and raised the question a week or so ago about the whole idea of something greater than us being divine, God, blah, blah, blah. They never in their wildest imagination made it into what we made it into. That's not where they were coming from at all. They started out, if we go back to the actual conception of all of this, you have to go back to elemental people. And they have no fantasy about their reality they're experiencing. They're living in nature. They haven't developed tools. They haven't developed fire. They don't have weapons. They're just out there. And I try to tell people, look at the television show Naked and Afraid or whatever it is, where they having people out in nature with no clothes. That's how it really started. Totems were actually the food group associated with each one of these different groups, i.e., tribes, that actually then later grew into societies, which grew into nations. But you have to go back to how these things started. They're not anything close to what we make them into today. Totemism starts in Africa. It doesn't start with native people in America. Totems were the first totem was the reed people because that was their food source. And the reeds then turned into papyrus and blah, 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 much later. But you got to go back to how it all started and where they really were. And at no time did they imagine that anything greater than them, which they only looked at nature, everything they did was from trial and error and nature and actual experiences. And that's why it's so important to go back to the original, where did we start and how did all this start? When you tell the story of history, you got to start with the origin of man. Otherwise, you can't get this straight. Because think about how long it would take you to walk around the earth and figure out everything that's edible, everything that's dangerous, and what is not. You'd only do that from trial and error. You'd only know certain snakes bite you and you'll die, other snakes bite you and you'll live. Well, that happens from experience. Spider,
I've got one question, Dr. Truth. You
yes.
may or might not want to, but can you expound on the totem being the natural food source?
Yeah.
The food source.
Yeah. And let's do this for the audience.
And can you do anything to show that is what I'm asking.
Yes, sir. It's actually in the Origin and Evolution of Religion book and Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man by Churchward. He actually shows you all of this. If you have either of those documents, and both of which are on the Brownback website. So the audience can literally go online and pull these documents up and look at them verbatim as we're speaking. And then they will see that you got to develop this story from the origin of how it all came about. Totems are the foods. So you had the carrots, the greens, the potato, the blah blah blah. Those were actual totems. Now, see, we think of totems in Native Americans, which we mislabel Indians, and you have the hawk and the bear and da da da, which is also true. But originally, this is an African concept, and it had to do with food. Everything we do, if you think about this, every people on the planet, actually, you think about food. When you say Italian, food, Chinese, food, Japanese, food, everything goes back to food. Because at the end of the day, it's about how can you feed yourself. And that's where these basic elemental people were. They were about how can I eat? How can I survive? At night, I'm the hunted. I'm not the hunter. I can't see in the dark. There's all kinds of things out here that can see me. I can't see them. And I become, the menu. So they never imagined God and something greater than them to be human or look like a man. That's so outrageous in their understanding that it's almost comical.
Right.
They understood straight up that there is no way. Earth, air, fire, water, supernatural forces, day and night. Those are important. In the daytime, it is safe. At night, it's dangerous. That's still true today. And we live in lit cities. Now, you think if you out in the bush, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're not up in a tree or somewhere safe and hope that you ain't got a snake or something up there with you or a jaguar, you're in serious trouble.
Yeah.
So we have to go back and understand how man evolved. We look at the world from modern man and think this is how it's always been. That is not even remotely close to the truth. Until you develop the axe, until you develop fire, Dude, you're the weakest thing in the valley. Ain't no way in hell you imagine that something supreme looked like you. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, and then when we got that covered, we got that covered. But great explanation about that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, fire away. I mean, we're in the library. We
Yeah,
having a Friday
let me.
night, so we
So
just
we're still so we're I'm still interested in where the 600,000 year concept comes from.
well, let's go back and first let's visit Albert Churchward, Massey, and these guys, and um Count Boney. Boney's from Europe, from France. These other boys are from Europe. So let's ask, why would they say the things they said, where they're at the time they said them, if it's not absolutely factually true? That's the question we need to ask each other, because none of these people were ever in America. None of this information that we're talking about was ever intended for our eyes. Okay, let's be very clear about this. These were white aristocracy in Europe talking to their colleagues in Europe. This was not intended for us. So when you look at Churchward, the reason I like Churchward, first of which he was a student of Gerald Massey. And Dr. Clark told me to my face, if I wanted to understand this, I had to read Massey. So that's where I started. But when you go back to Massey, who's British, then you go to Count Boney, because keep in mind, the people that were in Egypt prior to the Brits were the French. Prior to that was the Germans. So we're actually getting the last rendition of the story from, you know, the people in England, as opposed to, no, you need to go to France, because they were there way before the English got in the game, and find out what did they know. See, because we don't speak French, we don't go investigate the Louvre and what they have in their treasure trove, which precedes what the British have. And then look at the scholarship of what they wrote. Now, I'm saying all that to say that Boney is French. He lived in the Temple of Luxor for 15 years, physically with his family, and he's an architect. So he measured
Give
the
me that name one more time, Doctor. Can you give me that name? Let me get my pen real quick. Volley. How do you can you how do you spell that? Volley.
Count Boney, C.F. Boney, Volney.
Volney.
Yes, the book is called The Ruins. The Ruins, the Revelation of Empires, the Law of Nature by Count Boney. Now, this was written in the late 1800s. So the question becomes, why are these guys writing this and saying this is what you did if it's not true? They're not talking to us. Let me show, because I actually have the book in my hand.
Okay. Thank you.
And Dr. Ben used to quote this book all the time. This book, the one I have in my hand, was printed in 1890. So you think about where we were as a people in 1890. You would know good and well we had no way of accessing anything remotely close to this kind of information. Now, on page 1415, the pillars of which the ruins, narrow waters, and the Nile, and they're telling about that all this comes from the ancient kingdom of Ethiopia. So they're telling you that this stuff is not even the origin. This is not Egypt, it's Ethiopia. Egypt is a colony of Ethiopia. And they go back. Okay, now on page 16, there are people now forgotten, discovered while others were yet barbarians, the elements of art and science, a race of men now rejected from society for their sable skin and fuzzy hair, founded on the study of the laws of nature, those civil and religious systems that still govern the universe. Not the world, the universe. They're saying this is how the universe works. And these Africans figured it out. Now, and then they go on and talk about, all the different places that this became, et cetera, et cetera. But they straight up said, all of this came from these black folks. They know this. We're the only ones confused about who did this. They're clear as a bell. They know these black folks did this.
Right.
And black folks have been looking at, think about this. European society as we know it. The Greeks, be them Thales, all of the so-called Greek scholars. And we go to Stolen Legacy and pull them all out. But there is no Greek presence in the world until 560 BC.
Ain't no European presence in the world.
Oh, and the Greeks are the fathers of European history. That's the point I'm making. Okay, so if you go back to let's give them a cushion of a couple hundred years, 700 BC. Okay, prior to that, they have no presence anywhere. Now, according to contemporary African-centered, Afrocentric, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, dynastic rule starts at 3200 BC. Let's just go with that. We're not even going to upset the apple cart and tell you that's not right. Let's just roll with that one. 3200 BC, and they're not here till 700 BC. So you do the math. How did they develop buildings that are 3,000 years before they were born? How did they do that?
They didn't do that.
That Moses is not on the planet. Let's put it like he lived. Okay, I'm not even going to argue the point that there was no guy named Moses and Jesus. We'll just skip that movie and we'll listen. Okay,
because we got that covered for sure.
Okay, so Moses is not around to the time of Akhenaten, which is 1200 to 1300 BC. So how did he develop the pyramid? And it's built by Imhotep, according to what we've been told, in 2780.
Right.
Moses was here in the age of
Moses wasn't here.
Where did it say? Where did it say Moses built a pyramid? What happened?
Well, the so-called the so-called Jews in bondage, built it out of mud and straw. I don't know how that happened because the damn thing is made. It ain't out of mud and straw in the first place. But
Well, see, Moses was in the age of Aries, But see, Phil, let me get this straight. Listen to you talk. See, like the 12 period zodiac, that started in the stellar age. The solar age, right?
Yeah, that's all solar. Everything you're talking about is solar.
Yeah, see all that
Solar
stuff about the 12 astrological signs. That's solar stuff.
Everything we know about history and everything we speak of is solar. Solar has been around for 100,000 years, and we only go back 10,000. So it's clearly solar.
Yeah, that's where I come in astrology. They have 12 ages, because that's solar stuff.
Wait a minute, who go back 10,000 years? Wait a minute, you're losing me.
If we talk about the so-called history we know, who goes back past 10,000 BC?
10,000 BC?
Let me say this. The reason why 10,000 BC comes in, I think it's in Massey's book. I'm not sure which one it's in. But one of the Ptolemies asked Manetho, which was an Egyptian priest, to write a history of Egypt. And he writes a 36,000 year history of Egypt. Now, why 36,000? The great year we're in now, and this during the solar period, started around 10,800, something like that. Put 26 on top of that, and there's your 36. I don't know if I'm making sense, but but like Phil was saying, like most of the stuff we talk about, comes from the solar period. Not solar, the solar period.
From my understanding, how I learned about it, and that's why I'm not sure of how long those periods was. But I thought we as Homo sapiens went through those stages.
Well,
that's what I thought.
From my understanding, those periods had nothing to do with Homo sapiens. It all stems from the wobble of the earth. It don't have nothing to do with Homo.
But that's what I'm talking about. When we start pushing back 600,000 years, that's not Homo sapien. So in the time frame of Homo sapien and our thinking and looking at the studying the stars, from my mindset, I'm thinking we were Homo sapien, not a species older than Homo sapien. The studying of that, like I said, Dr. Phil said earlier, it was a stellar calendar. That stellar calendar gonna give us a 25/8/23 year cycle. The solar cycle is gonna give us a 25/9/60. They still talking about the same cycle. If y'all talk, it's still talking about the same cycle, but the time is off. From my understanding in reading, it was like our ancestors from Kemet was like some kind of way they was losing time. When they talk about that myth dealing with Ra in the creation of with Nut and Jeb and getting them 5 extra days, into that Asaurian myth. That's dealing with this cycle that we're talking about. That's dealing with them understanding we finna go with the sun. It was something that they were saying the lunar time, then they would be off on a while, and with the stars they would be off. But some kind of way, when they start dealing with that sun, they could track it over time, and the math that they use over time, it would correct itself. It would correct itself over a period of time, and the solar time was more accurate to them. And that's what they stuck with, from my understanding. Okay. So, like I said, I know about when they deal with the 7 stars, the pole stars, each pole star had a 3,689 years. If you do that times 7, it's going to give you a 25/8/23. So that is a cycle. It just, when our ancestors were saying something about they couldn't track it. So they went from that to lunar time. And then the lunar, when they was dealing with the moon, or however they was tracking time with the moon, that didn't last long enough, or it wasn't accurate enough until
Right,
they got to the sun.
they went
And
from
when they got to the sun, they for some reason they stuck with that, from my understanding.
Let me kind of at least give you some information. Now, look at the book, The Origin, Evolution of Religion, start on page 145, which is chapter 9.
My office on fire. My office on fire.
Which says, they're talking about the Great Pyramid, the grandest and greatest religious temple ever built or ever will be built. So let's first think about what I just said. This is a religious temple. It's not what we have made it into. Okay, it is the Bible in stone. On the glyphs before the Arabs tore the covers off, it had all the rules for all of science and academia in the world carved on it, so that people like us would know what to do and what not to do, where to go and where not to go, and we would understand it. That's what our ancestors did. And they did this 270,000 years ago. It's not done by Imhotep. So now let's visit what you just said with respect. Solar is not an accurate way of telling time. And we know that because every 4 years, you got to add a day to the calendar. Okay. The earth is spinning, but it's also wobbling. So the wobble is what throws you off.
And go to 5 days that they added extra.
Okay. Now think about this. If you add 1 day every 4 years and you do this times 500,000 years, you see how far off you are in actual time?
They did it
The only
5
thing
days,
that's
doctor.
actually accurate are the stars because they don't move. That's why the stellar cult boys use the pole stars because they are constant. I don't care what the earth does, those stars are not moving. So when you go from one constellation to the next, it's always going to be the same. And the cycle it takes to do this is 25/827, which gives you a 3689. And that's why when you get the later rendition of the story, that's like right now we have Baptist and Catholic and Jehovah Witness, da 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 da. Well, that's the latest rendition of the story. That's not the origin of the story. You got to go back to how did this start? Elemental, stellar. Stellar people did this for 300,000 years. Lunar is 50,000 years. This ain't short intervals. Okay. Solar, that's us. We've been doing this for 100,000 years. The problem is the solar boys are the last rendition of the story. And you're now in the Western. Keep in mind, the story starts in the Southern Hemisphere. This is not a Northern Hemisphere story. So you already got it ass backwards. You're looking at this from what the Northern Hemisphere says, but the story comes from the Southern Hemisphere in the first place. They were in the South. They started with the Southern Pole Star, not the Northern Pole Star that we use as Horus, i.e. Jesus, blah-de-da-de-da. That is not where this came from in the first place. What I try to tell people is, look, when we first came to the Americas and we were down south in Mississippi and, Alabama, blah, 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 it was all good. And then the brothers moved to New York and got hip, and they forgot about the old school brothers that started this. So all of a sudden they are squares and they don't know what's happening. And, that's some Uncle Remus shit. We got some new shit. You see what I'm saying? That's the same trap we are falling into. You are northern oriented, Egypt, da 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 da, committed, blah, 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 blah. Okay? That's not where this came from. That's not where this came from. So you got to go back to who gave you this information and what was it before you got it?
Well, from that point, you would have to show me the records from those people who ain't no records from that. What you talking about, Dr. Phil? We got
Yes,
only
sir.
solar
No,
records then.
no, that's not true. That's
Well,
why
then
I said
you got to show me them records.
read Massey, read Church.
No, Massey ain't showing me them. When you keep saying read these people, I read them. They don't have So when we first deal with the 600, let's deal with that because you keep pulling that up. 600. What is the evidence?
Gerald.
No, they don't show that in the book, Dr. Phil. I've searched. You going on what Massey or Church Ward said. They don't show no evidence. If you can provide, because I look, they don't provide no evidence of no 600,000 years and us doing anything stellar. What evidence did they?
If you take the 26.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the evidence.
I haven't even said anything. Hold up, bro. Do you want me to be on here and have a discussion, or are you going to, just?
I want that question answered. I want that question answered.
We're asking questions, doctor. Don't get offended, doctor. We're asking questions. It's an open
And the
forum.
source is Albert. I mean, as you say, Albert Church Ward. In that book, we can bring that up, but he didn't reference that. He's not a scholar like that. So what was he saying? What was the evidence? That's all I'm asking. We going on because Dr. Clark said read Albert Church Ward in them and what they said, but that goes against what we need evidence, not what Europeans tell us. They can lie too.
Well, see, when I read the Church Ward's book, my understanding was he goes down in the temples and reads the stuff that they stole from Egypt.
He didn't provide it. I see you again, you sourced them too. And that's the reason. What is the evidence? That's a claim. Y'all going on claim.
I'm saying it's a claim, but he went down there and he said
Y'all presented as facts. And now I'm asking for the facts, the evidence to support the claim, and y'all clamming up.
Well,
evidence got to support the claim. Y'all know that. Come on. Let's provide the claim. Let's provide the evidence for that claim and we can move forward. Without that, let's stop throwing it up.
Let me just finish what I was gonna say, and then we can argue, go back and
forth. Yes, sir, Baba. Yes, sir, Baba.
All I was saying was, when I read Church Ward, what I got out of it, and where he got it from, the Europeans, the English stole that stuff from Europe and put it in their archive. He goes down in their archives and read it. That's what comes out of that book. Now you can agree or disagree with it, but he's just coming up with what he said.
That's conspiracy theory. That's conspiracy theory. We have about a whole bunch of stuff hidden somewhere that we never see. Now this 2024. We don't go for that. Hell no. He saw it only. He the only one saw it. No, sir. No, I reject that.
Well, I don't have no problem with
reject it too.
All I'm saying is, like, if you tell me something and I can say Gerald said X, Y, Z, well, somebody can agree with it, disagree with it, but Gerald still said it.
But we do research on here. We do research, and we're looking for evidence. And instead of the conversation,
the only evidence,
just conversation. That's why Dr. Phil jumped on there and said, if you want me on here, we definitely want you on here, but we're looking for evidence, visual evidence.
There is no evidence other than what he said he saw, and that's all you can go by. Now you can agree with it or disagree with it, but he claims he went down there in the archive and read the material, and he wrote a book based on the material he read. Now you can agree or disagree with it, or believe it or not believe it. But the so-called proof, when I'm putting quotes on that, is so he said, I went down there and I read this, and he's reporting on what he read.
He'll say don't work in scholarship, Baba.
Say that again?
Simply. He'll say do not work in scholarship. He should know that. Anybody who's a scholar or who studies intensely should know that.
Well, see, all of us in there read books. We wasn't back there when them books was written.
That's the difference between scholarship, Baba. Again, hearsay is not scholarship. If that, we will believe the Bible, because Moses said, Adam, that's not how it works.
But all you can say is you can acknowledge where you got it from. Now, people that can accept it or not. But you just said, here's my source. Here's the source of what I'm saying. Now you can accept it or not. I'm not trying to get you to believe nothing. I'm just saying what I'm saying is based on this. Now you can go along with it or not. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, from my studies, for when they saying that these are Homo sapiens, I don't have no evidence that Homo sapiens was around 600 years. So it's a blurring. Some misinformation is being told. If somebody telling me Homo sapiens was around 600,000 years ago doing stellar calendar, and I have no evidence of a Homo sapien that lived 600,000 years. Well, that's just plain and simple to me.
I agree with that. So all you can say is, according to the evidence I have, here's what they said. Now, you can accept it or not.
Well, when he's saying that, again, according to what he's saying, he has to be saying they found some human remains that's at a certain level that dates back to 600. So what are those remains? This is like logic and reasoning. What are the remains?
Like the question would be, the thing would be, there is absolutely no anthropological or archaeological proof that Homo sapiens sapien existed 600,000 years ago. There's none. Absolutely none. There's none. That's all we're saying. There's none. There's claims. There's claims. But there's absolutely no proof of that. No anthropologist is going to go with that, right? I mean, I haven't seen it, and that's all. That's the only thing we're
I don't
saying.
have any problem with anything you all saying. All I'm saying is if you read the material and you say and you explain where you got the material from, and you just leave it at that. Now somebody can accept it or reject it. That's up to them. But you saying here's where I got it from.
Right. Well,
So
because
what
I
he's
think
saying
that
is that's the best that they
because what
have
I'm
to
saying
offer.
is if
That's
at 600,000 years ago, for you to look at the scores of those hominids at that time, they ain't gonna fit ours.
Okay, stop.
They're not gonna, right?
Let me say this. Do you believe that the 26,000 year cycle exists?
I
Do you
think that
accept
that's a
that?
that I think that could be a theory as well, because that's provided that we're on a sphere. That's provided that we're on a complete circle, right? That's provided we are. Now I'm not saying that we are
Yeah,
not or
yeah, it
not.
exists. That's nature observed. That is nature observed, whether we believe it or not. Yes, that exists. It's we as the earth are rolling around through the zodiac. We're not still.
I'm saying
We moving. Sun
ain't nobody.
moving,
I,
everything moving. This not a static universe. It's a moving universe. Everything revolving.
well, and you know what?
We
Hey,
studied that, and that's how we knew about the wobble and all these different things. This is things that we've done.
they also studied that. All that's. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying it is or ain't. I'm just saying that's providing that we're on a sphere. Now you ain't got no absolute proof that we are on a sphere. You can believe, but you don't know if we're on a sphere or we're on flat Earth. We don't know that, man. I mean, I
Well,
don't care one way or the other.
I'm just say
I'm
this.
just saying that that's according to if we are on a sphere. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe so. I mean, but who was there 25,000 years ago to be able to tell what happened 25,000 years later, right? I mean, who was here to figure that out, man? I mean, 36,000 years ago, or 25,900 years ago. I mean, who's that's just. I mean, that's just I mean, we just don't. We just gotta. So I'm just saying, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not going. I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't. I can't say I believe it, and I can't say I disbelieve it. I'm not sure.
Well, just
Right.
leave it at that.
Right. I'm just not sure. But I'm just saying, when we come to the 600,000 year Homo sapiens sapien, I'm pretty sure that's not no Homo sapiens sapien. That's not us. Now, that's probably one of our ancestors, a common ancestor, but no.
All I'm saying is this. You know, like they talk about the wobble of the earth, and like from what I understand, when I say I believe it, I accept that that is a fact, that the earth wobbles and averaging it off of 20, it's a 26,000 year wobble.
I can accept that. I can accept that.
Huh?
I can accept that. I can accept that. And I can accept that as fact. I can accept that too.
Okay, but no, hold it. That's very good. Now the question is, how long do people have to be around to figure that out?
Well, you know what? We've been around for how long? Y'all said you said 600,000 years. So
I'm not saying, but all I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this. It's acknowledged that the earth has a 26,000 year wobble. I'm rounding it off. And then, and mankind knew about that and came up with a mythology based on that, which is astrology. That's mythology based on astronomy.
Okay.
Now, how long do mankind have to be around to know about the astronomy, the 26,000 years, and come up with a mythology based on it? I ain't saying I know, I'm posing the question. But I'm saying
You know
this.
what?
I'm knowing that they had to at least be tracking time for 72 years straight to know that it was a wobble. I know that for a fact.
Not 72 years. How about put some more zeros behind that?
No, only 72 years of tracking. And they would know that sky gonna move.
One
That's the
degree
wobble.
every 72 years. That's what it's supposed to move. It's supposed to move
Yeah.
1 degree every 72 years.
Oh, I
Yes.
see. Yeah, okay.
You
I'm
feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, but you know, like I said, man, I mean, and you know,
But wait a minute. Even if that, okay, accepting that, how long is it gonna take you to figure out that it's moving 1 degree or whatever every 72 years? That ain't obvious. How long is it gonna take you to figure that out?
Say it again.
right.
I didn't hear your question.
He said, how long would it take for you to figure out that the Earth is moving 1 degree every 72 years? How long would it take you to figure that out? Because that's not an obvious move.
This is what I accept. Us as Homo sapiens, right? Which is at least 300,000 years ago, went through the stellar, the lunar, and the solar. They've been watching the skies
within that time.
Yeah, they've been watching it. So even when they get to the solar, which we talking about this 72, it's what I'm. But when we saying it, we not, because we don't watch the skies, we don't understand exactly what we're saying. But when we saying the precession of the equinox, or moving into the age of Aquarius, or moving from the age, that's it's ticking. It's a tick that go on. A tick that go on every 72 years. And it's 30 degrees in each tick. That's going to give us that 2160. That gives you the age. And they do that times 12, that give you the great year. Okay? Now again, it's some deeper math when you go into it, because as you know, that 30 times 12 is gonna give you 360. That's the full circle, right? That makes sense?
30 times 12, it ain't got nothing to do with making sense. Either it is or it ain't.
Right, 360. We don't have 360 days in the year. We got 365. That's letting you know they knew about that wobble. If you go back into that mist with Jeb and Nut, Tahuti played 5 days to get them 5 days. That was Saw said, when Dr. Phil said plays into the Saw myth and all that, yeah, that's true in that. It's telling you in that mythology.
All this stuff is moving. The earth is spinning, the moon is moving, and the sun is moving. All this stuff is moving.
Right. But again, if it was 3, by them adding them 3 extra days of what we call that leap year today, when we add, we take 1 day out of that, it's knowledge in that. It's not just that they trying to keep track of time. They trying to put it back on time.
Not only that, because see, if my memory serves me correct, every so often they have to drop the extra day on the what I'm trying to say, the leap year, because that's even off a little bit.
Right. Right. But again, they watching these
every 100 years they don't add the day on, or something like that,
So again, they're watching these stars, and then they'll manipulate us back with time to try to get back on time with them stars. They are watching that. The astronomers did listen to what our ancients were saying. We watched them longer than they watched them, even with telescopes and shit. We were watching them with the naked eye. Yeah, with the whole Sirius B and all that concept. The ancient people in Kemet knew about it. The Dogons knew about it. When white people first heard about that, they said we was crazy. We was lying. You know, 'cause you can't see that with the naked eye. You know, but I say with that always have thrown me off with the my trying to understand if from even whoever was saying it was we talking about Homo sapien when we're dealing with these going through these ages, or we talking about, you know, pre-human. And again, I do understand evolution. And again, if that's the times that we're talking about, that's just a total different, you know, I don't reject anything about it, but you know, it's not dealing with my knowledge of self. You know. But even later when they, from my understanding, when they were dealing with nature, they still seen something behind it and they connected with it. Not as in worshiping it, or the highest worshiping was saying it was also within them. You know, acknowledging the divine within themselves. You know, that was the highest form, not to give it out to some. It's like I said, they went into no spookism or anything like that. And again, this is from me dealing with the records that they left. From my understanding, like I said, starting with the, you know, the pyramid, the coffin, and then the permanent rule, and then the other instructions or whatnot. Other than that, I don't know what they were doing. I can only be speculating because I can only deal with records. So anything with me dealing with knowledge of self, and it's okay to speculate when you got nothing else to do, but at that point, to me, it's not dealing with knowledge.
We're not going to do a bunch of speculation anyway. So, and Dr. Phil, I just wanted to say, man, we love having you on here, man. And I still want to go back to, if you have something to, after what you heard, to share about that 600,000 years, because we're really about, on Sankofa, we're really about, you know, showing some evidence. And then I like what Dr. Leon was saying, you know, we don't have evidence to everything.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. Can I call you Baba? That's what I usually call you. That's what I usually call you. And I started calling you doctor, professor. And then you said Baba. So that's what I usually call you. So forgive me for that. But if Dr. True, if you want to share on that, then you're more than welcome. And if you want a whole show, then that's not this one. Because we're going to ask questions. And so I don't want you to feel offended because we ask questions and you may or may not have felt offended. Dr. Phil True. Yeah. My wife was referencing you, so I'll just clear that up.
All right, I had to get off. What I miss, fellas?
We was just go ahead, Jamie.
Oh no, we was just speaking on the what was that, the big year, what was that
Great
called?
year.
The great year, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Great year.
And in the stellar, we engaged in stellar in the order of the stellar, the lunar, and the
lunar and the solar.
And the solar being the oldest.
Pull up that article I wrote. Somebody had it up there a few minutes ago, and so I quote Albert Churchward what he said about that, and you can read it, and then you can agree or disagree with it. But the point is, that's what he wrote.
We get it, right?
Baba, can you send me that again? I was just looking for that. The one that you wrote. The one that you wrote.
But somebody had it. Somebody had it on there when I first tuned in. It was.
Hey, so it's on brown bag.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up, but right now I got something up. Before we go to that, I want us all to be, if that's the evidence that we have as of today of You know,
Turn your phone sideways, King.
me
Yeah,
sideways.
yeah. See if it flip. There you go.
See how that makes it bigger?
Yeah, there you go. That's way bigger.
Yeah. At the time when Diop was alive, and Diop did his presentation, the oldest fossil, and this was what, 87? That oldest fossil was in Omo Kabish, top right, in Ethiopia, and it had dated back to 195,000. Diop had, I think he had that skull on his presentation. As you see in the red, that's Homo sapien. The oldest Homo sapien we have, and again, they do have one in Herto, Ethiopia, that dates back to 160,000. Tanzania, 120,000. But the oldest Homo sapiens that we have to date has been found in Jebel Irhoud in Morocco, and it dates back to 300,000, top left. That is the evidence.
Where's this map at? Jerry, where's this map at? Where do you, this ain't from Diop. Where's this from? This map.
This is like the newest science source.
What source?
Let me go to my other one.
Okay.
Hey, y'all can still see. How do I go back?
We can see it.
Let me go back to that before I. Let's make it simple. Come on, picture. I'm sorry. I'm gonna find it.
You good? You good? You on another device?
Well, when I go, if I can find that picture right here on my photos and hit search, it's gonna take me right to where that straight article. I can show it straight to you. I want to be precise. I'm just not being able to pull it up.
Take your time, Gerald.
There we go. Let's hit Lynn search. And let's see which is the best one. Let's go here.
But I can't believe that Dr. Phil Truth ain't got shit to say. All right.
So the hominin fossils record of Africa. This gonna come from a scholarly article. I guess you gotta have to buy the article to get the picture.
Oh, okay.
It's
from
$189 to buy that. Just try to find one where.
Damn.
Again, in this age now too, some of this stuff when we're getting this, you're gonna have to pay for it. You gotta pay for information.
Yeah,
So,
you're right about that.
Find another one where we can go to that's gonna show the old. Okay. Let's get this one.
Now I see something here, but this is from, I don't know if this is reliable source or not.
See if it get a source.
This is this is Discover Magazine, and they got some images.
Well, the one that I got is coming from the Smithsonian Human Origins Program.
Smithsonian, okay. Yeah.
I don't know if
It's,
so. Again, that was I wanted to show you that just was what we have as today. Okay. Let's get out of here. We can get to the article right now if y'all don't mind. Sorry about that.
We don't mind, Gerald. It's all good, man.
Was it resources?
Miocene.
Great year by Barbara Dixon.
Let's see.
I'm surprised Dr. True isn't speaking on any of this.
Okay.
Bill, you there? Did you step away? Must have stepped away.
Barbara, did you want me to read it?
Go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it, Gerald.
The Cultural Relevance of the Great Year by Leon Dixon Jr., 2022.
Can you put it? You can't put it. Can you put it up on the screen or no?
Can you see it now?
No.
I still see the skulls.
Oh man, what?
Turn your phone straight back up right.
I'm still in control now?
Yeah. There you go. Now you should better do what you gotta do.
Okay. So I need to stop share first.
Should be able to just slide over and then to your main screen and then show what you want to show.
Yeah, you should better go into your phone right now and do whatever you gotta do.
It ain't sliding.
Just stop sharing and share again then.
Right.
Stop sharing.
Sorry about this, family, but we gonna get it together, man. Just be patient with us.
Make sure you hit that audio. Good.
Y'all gonna see this now?
Yep.
Yep.
So y'all can't see it?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can see it.
sir.
Okay. The Cultural Relevance of the Great
Hey,
Year.
hold on, Gerald.
Yes, sir.
Introduce who this is, man. Who was from, who
Yeah,
wrote
it's
it.
gonna be on now.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's by our guest. That's all right now.
Okay, my bad. Yeah. We got a guest here tonight with us, Barbara Dixon, and we're gonna read one of his articles dealing with the cultural relevance of the Great Year. Again, by Barbara Leon Dixon Jr., wrote in 2022. There are several natural units of time that most people are aware of. The day, which is the length of the time it takes for the Earth to spin around its axis. The month, the length of the time it takes for the moon to revolve around the Earth. And the year, the length of the time it takes for the Earth to revolve around the sun. But as the Earth is spinning around its axis, it is also revolving around its imaginary pole, allegedly pointing to the star Sirius. Like a spinning top revolves around its imaginary pole. Now, the length of time it takes for the Earth to do this is approximately 26,000 years. About 25,920 years estimates vary. Now, this is what is referred to as the Great Year. After the Greeks under Alexander eventually conquered Kemet, ancient Egypt, one of their Ptolemy astronomers asked the Kemetic high priest Manetho to write a history of Kemet. He wrote a 36,000-year history that included the current great year, in which began around 10,000 plus years BC, back through the preceding great year. See the Osirian Legend by Leon Dixon, pages 10 through 15. As the earthly year divided by 12 years, the approximate number of days in the months of the earthly year, the great year, which arbitrarily divided by 12 years, the approximate number of earthly years, which is referred to as an age. Some say a house, between about 155 years to 2,600 years. You should see Christianity Before Christ by John G. Jackson, pages 183 through 184. Now, whereas the knowledge of the months in the earthly year are obtained from astrophysics and astronomy, the classification of the ages of the great year are obtained from mythology. The beginning of the earthly year is set on January 1st because that is when the earth is closest to the sun in its revolution around it. The beginning of the great year is set approximately around 10,858 BC because that is when the rays of the sun are most perpendicular to Kemet. The first month of the earthly year is named after the Roman god Janus because it has two faces symbolizing looking back on the old year and forward to the new year. Now, to focus more on the cultural aspect of the great year, I choose to simplify arithmetic by approximating length of the great year by 26,000 years and 2,000 years for the ages. So the current great year we are now is begun around 10,000 plus BC in the age of Leo. So named because that's when lions come to the Nile River seeking water to cool down. Now, subtracting 2,000 from that yields the age of Cancer, about 8,000 plus 2,000 plus years. Later yields the age of Gemini, the twins, around 6,000 plus BC. An interesting cultural aspect of it is that on the equator, the Earth has two pole stars, one on the south, which is associated with Seth, which Europeans identify with Satan, and the other in the north, associated with Horus, which Europeans identify with Jesus. Now, subtracting another 2,000 years yields the age of Taurus, the bull, around 4,000 BC. And another 2,000 years, we're in the age of Aries, the ram, around 2,000 BC. More cultural aspects. It is during this age when the biblical Moses descends from the mountain and is upset when he observes his people worshiping the bull. He chastises them because they were in the ram's age. Recall the Bible's phrase, the good shepherd. So you subtract another 2,000 years, the age of Pisces. Recall the biblical expression, fishers of men. So around the year 0 AD. And subtracted another 2,000 years, we are where we are now, as the song says, dawning the age of Aquarius. Considering the following, 100 years is to 26,000 years, what about 5.5 minutes is to a day, and about 1.6 days to an earthly year. Since most people do not live 100 years, this poses the question, if you only live about 5.5 minutes, how long do you have to be around to be aware and know about the night and day? And if you only live about 1.6 days to be aware of and know about the 4 seasons, this alludes to the wisdom, intelligence, and insight of our ancient Kemetic ancestors. And there, it is yet another pertinent question suggested by the above discourse. How long did mankind have to be in existence to become knowledgeable of the great year and to develop a mythology based on it. Dr. Albert Churchward, 1852 to 1925, a Mason and a member of the Geological Society of London, wrote in his book, The Origin and Evolution of Religion, on page 149, the following passage about ancient Egyptian religious cults that speaks to this. The solar cult lasted about 100,000 years, and the lunar before this for about 50,000 years. The stellar cult was anterior to both of these and lasted at least 300,000 years. How much longer is it impossible to say, but from the remains found of the stellar cult people in the Pliocene strata formations, they were in existence as at least 600,000 years ago. It is also noteworthy to point out what he writes on page 151 and 152. There are records left by the stellar cult people of 10 great years. No record of time could be made until the Great Pyramids was built, and the priests had carefully recorded the time accurately in the precession of the 7 pole stars by observing yet after year, as seen as noted through the great tube, which was built to observe and record the time. It would have been impossible to obtain accuracy otherwise. Therefore, it must have been at least 269,870 years ago. This may be difficult for some people to believe, but records of the past prove it. Typical history books written for U.S. high school students and college undergraduate courses covers only a few thousand years BC up to the present. This is the period when Europeans become of historical essence. But the above discourse clearly illustrates that African civilization has been around hundreds of thousands of years, longer than that. And our worldwide communities in general and youth in particular clearly need to be aware of this. Again, this was an article titled The Cultural Relevance of the Great Year, and it's by Baba Leon Dixon Jr., written in 2022.
Hey, kid, can you do me a favor? Go
Yes,
back up. Go back up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Go to the part where he asked the question. I'm gonna tell you that was a cold.
It's a bunch of questions he had.
But
There's one
I'm
about
talking about
the times, and then there's one about how long did mankind have an existence to become knowledgeable of the great year.
That's it right there. That's a cold question right there. Mm-hmm. Hey, just check that question out though. Hey, that's a really cold question. Hey, because just think about that now. From what y'all saying about this great year, right? Because okay. So I mean, so y'all talking about 25,936,000. So listen to this, man. So the question, and then okay, so that's a good question. So how long did it take? How long do you think it would have took for our people to be able to figure that out, man? How long do you think it took them to develop that knowledge, man? Right? Just like we said, we know that Kemet didn't come up in one day. How long did it take them to you know what I'm saying, to develop that knowledge? Right? Right. So
great question.
Right. So that was a cold ass question. Hey, Baba Dixon, that was a nice question, King. I just gotta say that, man. That was a really good question. But I'm now, but the question still remains though. I mean, so how long would it take? What did it take? So this is why. So is this how we can push? Is this how we pushing it back to 600,000?
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Or at least attempt to, based on what they were talking about in this article and what I've also read too. Those each one of those eras that they were studying, you had it said on that one, it said that the lunar people worshipped there for approximately how many thousands of years? And they
Lunar,
were, but then before that, you had the stellar. So don't you have to do? Don't you have to add those eras up to get a more accurate number? You know what I'm saying? If it
I
took
think
you
that's
that,
yeah,
if
right.
you were
Go ahead, go ahead.
worshiping that way, if you were worshiping that long, how long did it take you to develop it?
Right. So this is what I'm saying. So I mean that would take a long time, King,
Right. So
because
then, and
right.
if you look at each era, they span some years. So you add those three together, you well over 600,000 years.
Yeah, that's but see that's yeah, right.
That's
But
shocking. That's
okay.
shocking. It's hard for the
Right.
mind to conceive.
So this is why I said that was a cold question in the way, right? Because I caught that. Right.
Yeah, makes you think,
I'm
makes you wonder. It
like
makes you. It's like, go ahead.
But Bobby Dixon, he presented that question earlier, and he. I just want to make sure that we know that he said he don't have the answer to that. I don't. He said I don't know, and I think that's fair. I think that's fair to acknowledge.
the question was raised to make you think. I mean, how long mankind have to be around to figure that out?
Right.
right, man. It's like
Hey,
so that's
Gerald, stop sharing. Stop
that's
sharing
a
until you get ready to share again, and then the
And,
that's
screen
a
will
and
change.
then I just drew the analogy, like 100 years is to 26,000 years, what 5.5 minutes is to a day. If you only live 5.5 minutes, how long is it going to take you to figure out night and day?
Right.
right. Like I said, that was a really, really good question, man. I like that,
Like
man. And then
1.6 days
that
is 2 years. If you only live 1.6 days, round it up to 2. If you only live 2 days, how long is it going to take you to figure out summer, fall, winter, spring?
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, right, but right, I get that, man.
But clearly they knew about the
Uh
great year because they had all that
Illegal.
information and came up with a mythology based on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see.
but okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, okay.
I didn't
And
answer
so
the question. I just posed the question to make
yeah,
the
but hold
reader
on
think.
though. But okay, so wait a minute. So wait. So when did astrology come about, man? When did all this come about? When the Greeks it just come with the Greeks? Did this
Huh?
come with the Greeks? Or
What?
did this come
Astrology?
from us? Did this I mean, did this come from I'm saying no. I know listen, I know where astrology began. What I'm saying is this theory right here, this great year, all this right here, is this I mean, I mean, like, is this the same as how we coined it,
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
right? Before the
Is
Greeks got a hold of
are
it.
you saying
Before
is
the
that
Greeks got
what
a hold
the
of it.
is that what the people of the Nile Valley called it before the Greeks got hold of it?
Or if this, or even is this time frame the right according to our people and the Greeks? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because again, man, they're gonna always try to make this shit fit some kind of narrative, man. So I'm just saying.
You want to respond to that, Dr. True?
I didn't quite forgive me. I had to go take care of my wife and daughter who are both, you all know. I mean, my daughter has MS, my wife is dementia, so I had to go feed them. So that's why I was missing in action.
Oh, bless.
Um,
I want to share one thing with you that you must have missed too, and blessings to your family, man. Um,
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
um,
sir.
we love having you on here, and we want you to get frustrated and stuff like that. But we ask for questions, and we ask questions, and we look for evidence. And if you want to have a show where a period a session that we do where you're uninterrupted, we're willing to we're willing to talk about
Oh
doing.
no. I think, let me say something because even though y'all doctor, I'm Baba, just like that Leon, and he is my elder and a mentor to me. So let me be very clear on who is on top here. I'm just more vocal, but I'm not necessarily more knowledgeable. Don't get it twisted. Okay. Now my specialty is just the antiquities part, and he focuses more on contemporary history. Okay. And that's why we tend to complement and are such a dynamic duo. And also, I'm pretty fiery and he's ice. So that's kind of the how we operate. And we're doing something tomorrow.
Yeah.
But to answer the question to the best of my ability, and state it again because I want to be very clear. I don't want to say something that is not concise in what exactly you're asking.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, no. So what I'm saying is from okay, so this originated, our people originally, our
Now I'm having a
people
really
put
hard
this.
time hearing you. So
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
yeah, a little better. Uh-huh.
Okay, so our people put this together, right? So what I'm saying is this the same as our people? Is this the same? Is this original, or is this something that or is this something that the Greeks and grabbed a hold of and changed up to fit some
Okay.
type of narrative that they got going on?
Well, I see, and seeing I wasn't here, so I don't know what Leon has told you, but astronomy is a actual verifiable, validatable science.
Hmm.
Astrology is mythology predicated on the science of astronomy. So you have to
Yes.
understand one is fact and one is mythology.
So Dr. Phil, just real quick, that's a great explanation. But we just got done reading Baba's dissertation.
Right, right, right. Okay. So the astronomy of what these ancient people did over 300,000 plus years. They said they recorded that event. They observed it and recorded it 10 times. And it only occurs every 26,827 years to begin with. So that means they had been observing, studying, looking at this for 300,000 years. And that's how they came to know this to be true. They have records of this event happening 10 times. See, that's the significance of the whole piece on the relevance of the great year. There's nobody around 300,000 years ago but us to begin with. So that takes all the Asians, all the white folks, everybody else. You're not even here. So you cannot claim this. But it also then eliminates the Egyptians. The Egyptian society is not 300,000 years old either. You have to go back to the boys from the South. That's
Hey,
where it started.
Phil, but still, I think the struggle is the numbers. They struggling with that 600. It's inconceivable
Okay,
based on,
I get it.
huh?
I get it. I get it. Okay,
It's
because we've been
inconceivable
oriented to the Bible.
based on the bones that have been found, and based on the bones that have been dated. So how do you correlate the aging the aging of the bones archaeology with what we're finding in the strata that speaks to the age of some of the artifacts found for the stellar people? How do you make that correlation? How could you know what I'm saying? If
I,
when those not off,
I get it. On the island of Philae, Phila, is an actual island off of
yeah.
here. Okay, there is a zodiac carved in the ceiling in stone, bro. That's how you know they knew this. They carved it in stone. This is not some papyrus. This is not some papers. This is not some speech somewhere. They carved this in stone in the wall to tell you they knew this, they observed this, and they documented this. Now, if it only happens every 26,000 years, hello, it goes back to the question that Leon asked. How long will you have to look at this before you figured it out?
That
You're
was a
not going to
good
do
question.
that in one or two observations.
Hell
There's no
no.
way.
But
And it
before that,
only occurs every 26,000 years. Hello?
And
You can only see
also
the cycle every 26,000 years. So you would have to look at it one time 26, 2 times, and then realize that every time this constellation comes up, my house floods. It would have to mean something to you. Otherwise, why wouldn't it would be meaningless to do this. Okay. The reason that you do Christmas, okay, the sun dies on the Southern Cross. In the Southern constellation, if you are up below the equator, it literally dies. It's sitting on that constellation on the 25th of December. That's not some shit we made up. That's a fact. But because you're northern oriented, you don't know anything about the constellations in the southern hemisphere. There's 88 constellations, sir, not 12. That's our first mistake. There's 88. There's 44 in the north and 44 in the south. And you run around talking about 12 because some Greeks told you. You are so far removed from facts, it's ridiculous.
When you say you, who are you speaking on?
We.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thank you for that explanation.
Yeah. So when I speak, even though
I
if
understand,
I say
Dr.
you
Phil.
or I or blah blah, I'm
I
always speaking
understand
in
that.
generalities. Okay. I'm not.
I understand.
This is never personal. Okay.
Right. I understand that because you explained it, and thank you
Okay.
for that.
So we, as Leon has said, we have been socialized, miseducated, and indoctrinated to European think. Period. And we have to acknowledge that. That's why I keep going back to some of the white scholars I'm talking about, because they're not talking to us. They're telling their white colleagues, hey, we're going to give the world the okie doke, and we don't want you all to get caught up in the nonsense. Okay. We want you to know what the hell you're talking about. Okay. That masonry is a white thing. I'm not talking about no Scottish Rite nigger shit. I'm talking about Masons in Europe, okay? The York Rite Masons. That's the Brits and the boys who actually running this along with the Vatican. They got the real data. If you want to find out what is going on, you probably should go find out from the people who have it in their library who stole it in the first place. You can't go ask us. We are second, third hand information sources. Let's be honest. As eloquent as Dr. Clark is, and that was my personal friend, Dr. Ben. These are personal friends of mine. I'm not talking about somebody I heard about. Jeffries, these people, they got it second hand, third hand. We didn't go dig this stuff up. They don't let you in those buildings. They don't let you in the basement of the Vatican. So you got to go to the people who actually did it and find out what they actually have. Let me give you a good example. There's a guy on social media named Billy Carson. He's out here talking about Nephilims and Agnat, whatever they call them, Akhenates and blah, blah, blah. And he actually said he was in the basement of the Vatican and actually saw some of these bodies. Okay. Now, you tell me, who in the world would let you go in the basement library of the Vatican by your damn self and find some extraterrestrials? And out of all there, you know, hundreds of thousands of people been through the Vatican Library, man, in the last 2,000 years. And this is the only clown that ever saw this, and you believe that shit? Are you serious? That would be international news on every cable station, every TV, everywhere in the world if that were true. But yet, this is the guy who came out and he spills this nonsense daily. And now we got other people, you know, embellishing this story about some extraterrestrials coming down here, and they're the ones that told us how to build the pyramids. Okay. And we actually articulate this. We are talking about flat Earth. Are you serious? And you don't think we're in trouble? Okay. We better go back to what the facts are. And social media has created a whole, if you will, avalanche of nonsense. And we have so many people out here talking about S that they don't know anything about, haven't read a book, telling you what they think they know, and they just got here yesterday. And our people are falling for this hook, line, and sinker. This is not only dangerous, it's killing us. It's killing us. The truth will set you free. Be clear about what is going to set you free. And the universe don't give a damn about what you believe, what your faith is, and none of that BS. Let me be clear how the universe works. Okay. It works on laws. Gravity, you believe gravity or not. It works. Jump off a building and see if you go up or down, bro. I hope you don't jump off more than the first floor. That's all I can tell you. If you jump off the sixth floor, you're gonna get hurt. Okay, the universe, everything in our galaxy, if you look at the galaxy, it's spiraling. Okay, everything is circular. Then how if the earth is flat, then you tell me how New Year's in Paris was 5 hours before New Year's in New York.
Oh, I didn't say it was flat. I don't know if it's flat or not. I'm just saying this. I'm saying
I'm telling
it's
you
a
what
theory.
we out
It's
here
a theory. It's a
propagating.
theory, just like everything else is a theory.
What a theory is an unproven statement. Laws are proven. There's a difference between theory and laws. Be clear. Ohm's law. Okay, these are laws. They're not negotiables. See, that's what I'm saying. We done got caught up in so much hyperbole that, oh, well, yeah, so and so said it, so it must be true. I'm like, are you kidding? Show me the data.
What up, dude?
Okay. I don't care what you mouth don't care who runs it. Show me the data. Excuse me. When I say something, I got the data. I'm not telling you what I heard, what I thought, what I dreamed about. Here's the damn data. I didn't invent any of this. I'm telling you what they know about you that you don't know. And you just looking at two shells.
That's something that I personally respect about you, because one thing I can say is, I seen you pull books off the shelf on the regular, all right. What we're talking about is, especially if we have an audience, to show the evidence, and you don't have to do that at this point because we already know.
Brownback has the data. These books
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling
yeah,
you
yeah.
about that are
Right,
invaluable and hard to come by, we have them on the website for free now. There's no
right,
what Leon
right.
said. That's page 145 to 152 of the book. All you gotta do is pull it up. You ain't have to
Yeah,
go buy it. You ain't got
right.
to do what I did. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we're so thankful for that too. I got those pages written down here. The references you provided, I got them written down, and we were talking earlier. We were talking earlier about how awesome and thankful we are to have access to that book page you
Look.
talked about.
Okay.
Yeah,
Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man. This is Dr. Clark, Dr. Bean, all of our greatest scholars. This is the book they told y'all to read 50 years ago.
right.
I got my
50
copy.
years ago, he references this book. I'm the one that's told you to read The Origin, Evolution of Religion. They never told you to read that. This is the book they told you to read. Okay.
Right.
Now, if you were to read it, and obviously you can see how ragged it is, I have read it a couple times. Okay.
Love it.
Then you would know that first and foremost, Albert Churchward, Dr. Albert Churchward. Let me be clear of his pedigree. He is a medical doctor for starters. He is a 30th degree York Rite Mason. He ain't a 32nd or 33rd degree. Be clear. Okay. So we're not talking about Shriners. We're not talking about none of that nonsense we do. Okay. The people I know who are involved in Masonry in America told me it's a charitable organization, a social group. They said this is the most serious religion on the planet. That's how they roll. That's the difference between what they know and what you don't know. Okay. Now, with that being said, the reason I tell people to read this book, this is of all the books I have, and I have thousands. I have all of Clark, all of Ben, all of Van Sertima, all of Diop, all of everybody you want to talk about. I have them. This is the one best book I've ever seen on history, and it's not even talking about history. It's talking about religion. There's no reason on God's green earth for this white racist man in England at the turn of the century who lived in the 1860s to say all this came from you if it ain't true. It doesn't even make sense for him to say that. He's in England. He's never been in America. He ain't talking to black people, and he had no intention of you reading his literature. Why would he say, we know the pyramid is 269,870 years old, and we have records to prove it? Why would he say that if it ain't true?
You don't have
Because
the
that
records to
goes
prove it.
against everything that's ever been said in any college, university, church, synagogue, temple on the planet.
You don't have the records to prove that, doctor.
Pardon me?
He don't have the records to prove that.
Sir, if you take 10 great years and record them, I beg your pardon, and you can't figure a year until you build a building, I beg to differ with you, sir. The
Are
base
you
of the
saying
pyramid,
that
the
the
base
pyramids
of the
was built that long ago?
excuse me, the base of the pyramid is what gives you your 365 and a quarter day calculation, sir. So
How
you
old are
can't
you
figure
dating the
out a year
pyramid?
until you build a building.
How old are you dating the pyramid, doctor? According to what you said, Albert Church Ward.
He said they know it's at least 270,000 years old.
And you believe it because Albert Church Ward said so?
No.
So what's the proof that makes you believe it? That's how. What's the not? You know that you just can't go that Albert Church Ward said so, and now you telling me that we were building pyramids 260 some? No, 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 hell no, no sir. Okay, if Albert Church Ward said it or not, no.
So
You should.
Church Ward didn't say it. He
excuse me,
said he got it from the
Gerald.
material.
I'm not going to get into a
What's
debate.
what's the evidence again?
Sir.
Besides Church Ward said
Dude,
out there,
are you going to out-talk me, or are we going to have a discussion?
I asked you for the evidence earlier. You heard me. I asked for the evidence, not the claim. I don't want no claims.
You
My
missed the
evidence-
point on the evidence.
My
Evidence
question to you, Gerald, is how old do you think it is?
I know it's not 260. We weren't
Well,
building.
then, if you know, show me some evidence.
No, you the one made the claim. You, the burden of proof is on you. Not,
Okay.
I didn't make the claim. I understand this. You understand this, doctor. You know the burden of proof is on you if you made that claim. And whoever make the claim need to provide evidence. Let's deal on the scholarly level. Doctors, Bibles, what?
He didn't make the claim. He quoted what the guy said.
Quoted who?
Let me ask you a simple question.
Said that he said that.
I know we're talking about that. You keep bringing up Albert Church Ward. I'm saying Albert Church Ward because you just gave him all that pedigree, and he did the same thing. He's saying something. He doing the same thing just Carson is doing. What's the difference?
We got to be clear. Now, one thing for sure is he's standing on church wars.
Let me ask you a simple question. Do you value Dr. Clark and Dr. Yosef Ben Yakin in scholarship?
If they can prove what they state, yes. And yes, I love
that ain't what I asked.
But they say,
I asked you a simple question. It's a yes or no answer. Do you value Dr. John Henry Clark, who had 50,000 books in his personal library, who is the...
All this book ain't scholarship. So if I value all this work, no. I value his scholarship.
Hey,
I value scholarship, yes.
Sir.
Yes.
What
I know what he's a scholar in.
What Dick
Let's
Gregory
back up.
said.
I do know what he's a scholar in. And so some of the stuff that Dr. Ben talks is not scholarship. You should know that, Dr. Phil. Let's get that all out. So all of his work and whatever he said is just because he is a scholar, don't make everything he talk about scholarship. Am I correct or not, Dr. Phil? This is what we talk about in Sankofa 180.
Sir.
Not everything Dr. Clark or especially Dr. Ben. Hell no, everything in what they said or what they wrote with scholarship. No, sir. No.
You know, I would love to participate in this, but it doesn't seem to be beneficial from where I'm sitting. Okay.
You ducking scholarship.
Hey, hold on. Hey, both you guys, hold on just a minute. Both you
been
guys
fun,
hold on just a
but
minute. I just
let me
want to ask
quote
Dr.
you.
True a
Let me
question.
quote you what Dick Gregory
Dr.
said.
True,
Okay.
Dr. True,
No,
slow down
I'm
for a
done.
minute.
He
Slow down.
said,
I got a question
before
for you.
you argue
I have
with
a question
someone,
for you.
ask
We got
yourself.
books. Don't think
Hey,
nobody ain't
hold
got
on, hold
books,
on.
doctor. You
Yeah,
ain't
we
the
all
only one
got
with books. It ain't like somebody we don't study around here. When you throw that up,
So let me do
it's
this.
not that I'm unlearned. Don't play. Am I right or wrong on what I'm saying about scholarship?
Dr. True, I got a question for you because you ain't gonna answer that question. So my question is, can you define to me what your description, according to the question you were asking, is value? What are you looking for in that response of do you value? Can you answer that for me, please, Dr. True?
I'm not quite sure what you're asking me, so can
Well,
you?
you asked the question you asked, doctor, was, do you value Dr. Ben
The
and
reason, the reason, not Dr. Ben. Let me be very
okay,
clear.
doctor. You said Dr.
Let me be very clear.
I'm
Okay?
just asking you a question. Can you define?
I'm answering your question, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
John Henry Clark not only is my personal mentor, my wife was his assistant, and he is recognized by the world as one of the foremost authorities on African history in the last century. Period. Full stop. Okay.
We're
Now,
up on
if you
that.
don't respect the people who brought us to the table, then what can I tell you? Okay.
Much
Well, of
respect,
course,
Dr.
Wait a minute,
Clark.
wait a minute.
Doctor, hold on. Let me
Lorenzo,
respond to this.
excuse me.
Hold on.
You-
Let me respond to this.
Can I
Of course,
can I
Dr.
finish
Phil,
saying?
that's why I asked you. Let me jump in. All right, you got to accept this. Right, you can accept this. My question was, and it's of the utmost importance because you're taking it to a whole different thing if we want to talk about, and I can explain that whole different thing as I understand it. What I'm simply asking, of course, I value the information, right? Well, you're taking it to a whole different level. And what Gerald is saying, I'm not saying, I shouldn't say you're taking it to a whole different level. What I understand is what Gerald is saying is, what I'm saying is, of course, I value it, but it's not all scholarship. That's two different parts. And from my understanding, is that you want it as a whole. I'm not saying that's what it is. That's why I asked you, what are you prescribing as value? Because I see two parts being brought to one, and it needs to be separated. Because of course, I value Dr. Clark. But there ain't nobody in the world that I'm going to value 100% on every damn thing they say. In any one aspect, doctor. In any one aspect, doctor. So what I'm saying is, I'm trying to help you to tone it down, to be cool and accept and not leave unless you just want to leave.
I'm leaving, but I just want to answer your question before.
But then, what if you leave and then leave?
Can I finish? Can I say something, or are you all going to just talk over
You
me?
been don't
Don't
do
have
that.
a problem.
Don't do that. You get to talk, man. Of course you can talk.
Go ahead and talk. Go ahead. It's on you.
The fuck, you a grown ass man. You know, you shouldn't be that sensitive, man. You've been in this.
Hey, y'all live? Y'all still live? Y'all still live?
Yeah, come on, man. Let's tone it down and go ahead and finish. All right, so he gone. All right, man. Well, that's fine. Anyway, man. I mean that
Hey, I got to get out personally for a minute because I done got my shit way the fuck up, man, and that ain't supposed to be that way.
All right, King.
My numbers done jump like a motherfucker.
All right, King.
I'll get right back.
All right. Hey, yeah, I value the master teachers, man. I value Dr. Ben. Yes, I do, man. I value you brothers and y'all and what y'all teach, right? I value, what Sankofa teach, right? That's not the question. right? You know what I'm saying? We just trying to get to the bottom of some information. That's it. It ain't nothing personal. Nothing personal, man. We love these brothers. We love being over there on Wednesday nights. You know what I'm saying? We love being there, man. It's a real nice, cool platform, man. We enjoy it, right? And that's why we keep coming back. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but you know, over here in Sankofa, Key, one thing we do, we challenge each other every single week. Okay? We get challenged, man. And this is what we do, man. We challenge each other's information, man. If it's not sitting right, hey, it's gonna get challenged, man. And we do this every single week, twice a week, man, on Sankofa, man. We do this, right? And that's the thing, man. And if you can't take it, man, then you might be in the wrong arena, man. You know, and not per se arena, but you know, if you're trying to teach something, man, somebody's gonna disagree. Somebody's gonna disagree, man. Okay, and you know, whether they wrong or right, somebody's gonna disagree, and you got to better take that, man. And you know, I always say, man, you know, uh, it's a good saying, man. You know, in the presence of truth, falsehood will flee. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what they always say. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, man. Uh, that's what we do here, man. We challenge the information if it ain't sitting right, and that's all, man. And you know, if I say something, man, I'm gonna have to show it. I'm gonna have to show it where I got it from, man. I'm gonna have to tell them where I got it from. I pull it up every time, man. When I say something, man, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen, and I'm gonna show it.
And let me ask you a question. What was the issue? Because like Leon said, he showed you where he referenced. And what was the issue after that?
Well, I mean, it wasn't I mean, he understand the reference, but what I'm saying is, I mean, it's like you're standing on it, man. So when you write, when you using sources like that, you're standing on them sources, man. Them is your sources. You putting them sources up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But every time it comes about, no, every time it comes up, oh no, this is what he said. No, this ain't what I said. This is what he said. No, man, you standing on this. You know what I'm just saying? You know what I'm saying? You standing on this. So you standing on
Okay.
Matthew,
So
and you
what's
standing
the
on church
what's
board, right? And
right?
I understand that. So, but what we saying is, okay, so then where's church wars? If where's his anthropological information at? Where's his archaeology at, man? Where you know what I'm saying? Where can we find this at? His work at, right? But we
Where can you
can't.
find Church Wars word?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about his anthropological work. I want to see where his archaeology work, where his archaeology is at, right? You know where that work is at. Because otherwise, man, you just saying something. You went in somewhere and read something, man. Come on, man.
All right, where's Diab's archaeology work at?
Well, you know, Diop was a real scientist, though.
No, no,
Diop
we
did.
no, they were both scientists. Where's Diab's archaeology work?
When he did that presentation that we all watched, he had them
Yeah.
skulls
No, we
right
all
there.
watched that, but that doesn't show his archaeology work. His book talks about him getting support from his colleagues who were French, who were German. A lot of the stuff he was getting,
Diop had access to the skulls.
He did the work.
like you said, through them guys.
Church Ward was a Mason. That's
Also,
okay.
like
We'll
Leaky.
compare the two. Church, as again, they saying Church Ward went down in some basement and saw something.
No, that was the other dude. That was Carson.
when
That was
Diop is
really,
talking about the evolution, he got that evidence. He got them. He got the bones. When I
Yeah,
just
he got
showed
the,
that earlier, even that's
yeah,
not Diop, but that is the evidence. That's why I showed that.
yeah.
yeah,
Ain't
I got
no
that.
getting around that. Ain't no getting around it.
Ain't no
Diop,
getting
hey,
around what?
Diop, his evidence is right here. He show it right
And
here,
I
man.
think,
He shows evidence right here. He got the scars and everything right here, man.
yeah, I got the book. I'm saying that all what I think what he's saying is that when you begin to study how long it took to understand the 360 piece, the measurements, that kind of determines who had the knowledge. And I think that goes back to those stellar worshipers, those other worshipers. That's what I'm thinking he was saying. But I don't see, because I know we was also watching something that spoke about how every so many years in the earth, in this rock, the poles change. Were we watching that together? About when they used the magnetic and they showed the magnetic pole north is a different direction. Y'all remember that?
I don't remember that.
Well, all right. Well, maybe y'all didn't. But anyway, maybe I was thinking it. But anyway, I think that spoke to how they was measuring age and measuring time on the earth. And I'm looking at, because I also, Browder mentioned something too recently that talked about those numbers of the age of the pyramids being much older than once mentioned. So I think others are saying the same thing. But shit,
Hey,
I can see how if we thinking that, I'm going back to Omo Man now. If Omo Man was a man burying his dead at 196,000 years ago, how long had he had to be Omo Man? How long he had to be in existence to understand all these concepts of life?
he could have been.
Because
He
I
could have
think when I
been.
was reading,
Go ahead.
huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because let me get the pale fox on. Let me get this.
Because if you
Anybody see this?
yes, sir. Go ahead. Yeah, we see it.
This is the problem that we're talking about. Where it said the stellar coat, right?
Yeah.
The stellar coat was anterior to both of these and lasted at least 300,000 years. How
That
much
means
longer?
before, right? That means before?
Yeah, before. So
So,
you
okay.
already got 150 years stated. You got solar coat earlier 100,000, and then he said lunar was 50. So that's 150,000
Okay.
years. Then he said
Yeah.
prior to that, there was a coat that was 300,000 years, and that was the stellar.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool. But from the remains found of the stellar cult people in this Pliocene strata formation, remains are human remains. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's making this claim right here that there were in existence at least 600,000 years old. When I go back
Okay.
to the other one, it's like Homo sapiens is not that old. That's all my
Right.
point was. So
Gotcha.
what is the we keep repeating this here. That takes us back to 600, but there's no evidence to provide what he's talking about. And that's all we
What
asking
about,
for.
okay, so you're saying, so, because I know the evidence talks about the Dogon people. Now, I know I got in my hand the book about the pale fox, and that was a Dogon people, and they've been talking about how, let me go to that page that he says about those masks, those celebrations they were having. And I think once he did the math, they were at about 200 some thousand years or close to it. Let me find that page. So to me, it's not
Hey,
too hard.
how many thousand years?
Let me see, man. I'm thumbing to the pages now.
But
Let
I
me
want y'all to
see.
know if 600,000 years is outside the range of Homo sapien. I don't see how this is hard. This is like I don't care. It's like simple math to me. I don't see. It's like it's been reported, and then the defense is, well, Albert Churchward said it, and he's a doctor from from such and such, and he's a Mason, that don't cut it in scholarship.
Oh, right. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, that
I get
don't
what you're
cut
saying.
it.
You would need more. We would need more evidence than that.
Right. It's not a net. It just we should all be that way about anybody and everybody, not just
Oh
him.
yeah, that's right. But that's right. That's true.
Yeah. That's all I was.
Let me see.
But Churchward didn't say it. He just reporting what he read.
But now you know that he don't have the evidence because we asking you, and you the one. It's like if you're reporting something that you doing the hearsay thing, and if somebody challenge you, you can't say, "Oh, it ain't." Then you should stop saying it once you don't have the facts to.
Wait, is Church reporting directly from his studies in Kemet, or is he going?
Listen, man.
Churchward is not talking about Kemet. Churchward went down in the archives and read the material that they stole from Kemet.
Listen, man. Listen, Diop did say. Diop said he did say that there was some anthropologists and some scholars that was pushing a pre-sapien people, right?
Okay.
And come to find out, it was all wrong.
I know. I heard about that. That's that Piltdown man. I heard about that one too. If we talking about the same one.
These people were supposed to be older than the 300,000 that we talking about, right? Because right.
No, no. And when I think about 600,000 years, I'm thinking more somewhere in between Lucy and real primitive person, real Lucy and
Lucy
man.
was Lucy was a million. Lucy was
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But Lucy wasn't no human at all.
No, I said in between Lucy.
Yeah.
Lucy and Omo Man. Omo is one by 195. You know what I'm saying? So when if I'm looking at some age like that, I'm not looking at 600,000 years. I'm not looking at a person or Twa. No, I'm looking at somebody older than the Twa. That's my vision. That's my idea. If I'm, you know what I'm saying, something like that. I'm not looking at someone who was charting like we understand it. I don't think though they were charting the heavens, celestial heavens at that point. I don't think looking up, sure. Observing what they see, maybe so, but I think more so as it relates to their own weather. But I don't see them as being. I don't look at that developed human early man, early primitive man that we know as a Twa. I don't see him as that now. But according to what they've looked at, Omo was developed man to the point where they were already into burials. During burials, now there's artifacts.
Homo is us.
195, right? That's us. 195. That's what.
That ain't when he didn't start there. How long did it take him to get to there? He didn't just pop up and turn from Lucy to Omo Man. What that but that space in between? Because we only got like 1% of the damn remains that are there. So I definitely don't look at the person at that age or 500,000 years as someone who was building buildings and things like that. But was he close enough based on teeth, jaw, where they lived, if they did some kind of art, if they used some kind of tools? I don't know. And then like I said, it's still up for debate. I don't have nothing to dispute it either way. I don't have nothing in front of me in my library to dispute it. And if someone else does, show me what you got. Because I got Diop. I got that. And like I said, I got what, but I'm still trying to make correlation between them. If them people were, maybe they don't got the dates right with the, maybe the dates aren't right with the Dogon. Maybe them numbers are off. But goddamn, they've been around a long time, brother. They've been doing that a long time. And then you got to find out, you got to figure out too how long it takes to develop that knowledge. Were you not considered Homo sapien until you had the knowledge? Or were you Homo sapien because you was building the knowledge? And how long did it take to build it? How long does that take?
Well, Homo sapien got a lot to do with this right here, man. This is what it's got. This is what it got a lot to do with.
What?
You see the? Do you see the screen?
Oh yeah. What you showing me? What am I looking at? Just I see the skulls,
Right.
and the difference in the brow ridge. Now look, but if you look at Australopithecus africanus and Homo neanderthal, look at them skulls. Those Australopithecus and Homo sapien look more alike than Homo sapien, Neanderthal and Homo sapien.
No, man, because look at the mouth. Look at the Australopithecus mouth.
The forehead. Look at the forehead.
Yeah, look at his mouth though. Look how his mouth protrude out like that. No, that ain't us.
No, he had a protrude. He had a protrude. Right, and that's Lucy. That's Lucy.
That ain't us yet. That ain't us yet.
That's Lucy.
Yeah. When you get to, and then you know what I'm saying. That's that right. So we down at the bottom right there. That's what we look like. Now when you get up to look at the dude above us. Look at his forehead. He ain't got one. See that?
He got a brow ridge.
See, that ain't us either. Look at his brow, right? And then look at the dude up above. That ain't us either, man. That ain't us yet. So that's what I'm saying, Keith. You can see, and then look at the Homo neanderthalis.
But again, you ain't got no date. You gotta put dates by these skulls, man.
His forehead and his eyebrows. So that ain't us yet either. So
you gotta put some dates. Put some dates by them skulls so you can make some, so we can see what you're talking about. But just pointing to them and saying what they is and what they ain't. Put some dates so people can see some range of reference.
Okay, well, shit, we got to use Gerald's shit that he got. I mean, hold on, give me a minute then, all right? Goddamn it, you won't see it.
Yeah, shit.
Y'all motherfuckers crazy.
Say stuff, shit.
Yeah.
And always remember, all this is based on our brain. Our brains change, and the size of our brains was shaping the size of them skulls.
And what was determining the size of the brain?
Well, that's what they talk about evolution. Some kind of
your skull had a whole lot to do with that.
No, your diet.
Our ability to do different things. Yeah,
your diet ain't got to do with the damn. Listen, man. Okay.
Yeah. No. Now I know if you ain't read the book, I know I ain't gonna debate with anybody that do no research.
Okay, hold on.
No, your diet has something to do with your brain. If you don't know that, then you got to get back to the books, brother. You got to get back to the books. Yeah. Even now, any doctor tell you need some protein determines whether it's vegetable or meat. You need some protein for brain function.
Yeah. Okay. Shit, I bet you they're getting plenty of protein.
That's part of it. That's what they say. What was changing with humans, with people, is their diet changed, geography, and they moved around.
I know they got a little something to do with. They got something to do with it.
A lot. Yeah.
The place the where you live at and all that. All right. So look at this here, man. This is real quick right here. Same skulls right here. Same skulls.
Dreams time, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how accurate this shit is, right?
Me neither. If you pointing at this guy, the one you just said, the one you was pointing at, talking about Homo sapien, that's a 30,000 to 10,000. Now
That's
we
what they
just said
say.
but we just said Omo is how much?
Well, about 190. Hey, Gerald, put
Yeah,
yours up, man.
yeah, toss that out, man. Get rid of
Yeah,
that.
Gerald, put yours up, man. Because
Put
this
that in
one,
the
I
trash
don't know where
can.
this, I don't know where that can. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
hey,
let that shit go.
I'm gonna finish looking though. Let me finish looking for some.
Eric said that's trash. Let that
Throw
go.
that shit away, man.
That'll be clowning, man.
Hell no, that shit don't line up.
Gerald got to put his.
It's an interest. It's an interesting topic. Like I say, the research is fun. Just studying, studying and learning more about it because I think as we go on, we're gonna learn more and more and find out more and more. But it's interesting. I tell you, I love it.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
I love
Hey,
it.
I found something else too. I found something else too. Yeah,
Jamie
I got
always finding them photos of his cousins and
yeah,
shit.
yeah. I
I
got the
bet.
Australopithecus. I got all these cats. Yeah, I got them. I got them right here. What's up?
Y'all see
Okay.
that?
Yeah, that's
Go
the
ahead.
one. Gerald,
Yeah,
Gerald got it.
there you go, Gerald. Flip your
Yeah.
screen. Flip your
Flip your
screen, Gerald.
screen, Gerald.
I mean, turn your screen. I mean,
Turn your phone.
It ain't
yeah.
doing it this time for some reason.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Let me see.
Oh, don't take that part off, man. I don't want nobody to see that message I sent you. That's a little much.
There we go. All right. So look, there you go. So you said Omo man is 195,000.
All the ones with the yellow circle around them, or with the
That's Homo sapien.
orange dot, that's us. That's
Right.
us.
Right, but you got you got the 600,000. You got the Bodo. Bodo is Ethiopia. Bodo, Ethiopia, 600,000 years. Now you see what that is? Look what he is. That he
You at,
great.
move
So
your
that's
person. Where you at? Where you at?
that's a
Herjo?
Hybo bendigensis, other
Okay.
archaean species. He ain't even he
Where
they
you
don't know what he is.
where you at over here? You said everywhere in orange. Homo sapien is in orange. So if you go Jebel Urba, that's Morocco.
Go
They
to
would
go
that's
go to
North.
six go
That's
to the
North
600
Africa.
go to the 600,000 year dude.
That's North Africa.
Yeah, that's what north there's something in Morocco for
But
sure.
look. He was found in North Africa at 300,000 years and aged at 300,000 years. If we say man came from down there in Tanzania, help me understand that.
They got Tanzania at 120,000, but they still got him at
Or even Omo. Look where Omo at.
Omo is up in
Stop,
If
y'all, stop.
Omo
They
is
still searching. That when that just was found,
Ethiopia.
I guarantee you they looking as your mind is thinking. As it should be thinking perfectly, Eric.
yeah.
It means they're gonna find some older, somewhere closer to what we're talking about. That's gonna be automatic because the science should say so.
No, say that again. Say it again. Explain that. Repeat that.
As they said, we already know that other older species were already found in this area, just like that 600 he talking about.
Older, okay, yeah.
But if you go to the right at Omo, right?
Yeah.
You got in that same area one at 195, one at 600. So in that area, you mostly probably gonna find the oldest. By my understanding, just like you saying, if they found one in Morocco up there, I mean we done traveled out there, but the oldest still should be found somewhere in that Great Lakes region. That's all I'm saying.
That's my point. That's the point I was making. That's what I was
point
making.
is, we still only can go on evidence. That's the evidence
but
we
here-
found, and I pushed it back. But I'm telling you, the more we look, there's gonna be more evidence.
That's all I'm saying. Because I think we're saying the same thing. If we're saying that he originated in the Great Lakes region, and if you point to where the Great Lakes region is, or whether it was right there, and you go, if you originated there, then you find some bones in North Africa that age at 300,000, doesn't it, with through deductive reasoning, tell you that either those bones found further south are older than first dated, or either the numbers, or they're much older? They're much older, or they got the math wrong, because how do you get up north being older and you originated in the south? Because you got a human, you got a
You
almost.
got, hold on. You got different evolutions of humanity now. That's where you get a
No,
little
no,
messed
no.
up.
I'm saying the very. So let's talk about the very first one that we know of. Would that be the one in the Great Lakes region or somewhere else?
Well, you got Homo erectus was the first African that walked up out of Africa, and then he not human though. You with me? He might be, yeah, he older than that gray shit at the bottom. That
Let me
makes
see.
sense.
Some point. Let me see where we
On
go.
our thing, they got three species: Homo sapien, the Homo
Homo naledi,
naledi, and then
and
Homo
then
hildeberg. Yeah.
Heidelberg
Homo
genus.
erectus is older than all. Remember you was talking about that Lucy stuff and all that there. It's some different
Lucy is considered
species before.
Australopithecus.
But Homo
Lucy,
erectus walked up out of Africa. That makes
Homo.
sense?
Okay, now at what point did Homo erectus walk out of Africa? I know it doesn't show you on this map, but based on what we see here, would you say, would it be that 300,000 year point, or would you say even
Homo
older than
erectus
that?
Homo erectus pushing way back. Oh,
Okay, so now minus Homo erectus, take him out the picture.
gotcha.
Still help me understand. You saying Homo sapien? Homo sapien. Let me finish my question. Homo sapien had two or more than one creation or evolution?
No, what
Because
I'm saying is the ancestors of us, right? That came before us. Some of them had moved out of Africa.
are we talking about Homo sapien or the pre Homo sapien?
Before Homo sapien. Some of them
Okay.
had left Africa. You got other species up in Asia, up in Europe.
Yeah.
That's not Homo sapien.
Yeah.
Okay. So we was moving around. That makes sense.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah, that makes sense before us being Homo sapien. The argument was for some people that Homo sapien could have originated out of Africa because there's other species that predate Homo sapien, modern human. That makes sense?
Okay, you say the argument is that Homo sapien became Homo sapien outside of Africa?
That was an argument.
Okay, because Diab don't say that. He say Homo
Right,
sapien.
no. Homo sapien became, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so based on that, I still can't see if he has said that they started in the Great Lakes region, that area down there. If he started there, and we don't even have, let me smooth this little copy text thing. What is that? They're as Kabwe in Zambia. Is that line 125,000? He's not even represented as human, but a Homo sapien. Homo sapien shows 120 over in Tanzania, shows 160 in Ethiopia, but it didn't shows 300,000 in Morocco. And if that's not the origin of, if that's the oldest bones of all these, that's the highest, oldest number of Homo sapien. But if those bones are found there, that person, if he didn't originate there, he migrated there. How long did he take to migrate from where he originated from, if he originated in the Great Lakes region, to there? And you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm asking. If we got 300 up north, the bones down, to me, it doesn't have, if he's 300 there before he walked out, hell, he's closer to walking out of north than he is down south. So if he walked out and he was 300,000 years old, how old was he down south? How old was he, the human, Homo sapien? Because this doesn't, it can't answer that question, this map. To me, I can't see why it answers that. You got 300,000 up north, man. But who they say wasn't human, he found in Tanzania what they say wasn't human, 400,000 right there. And right next to him is another Tanzanian dude. They say, well, say he was human. He had 120.
So
But
let me ask you a question.
I don't understand.
I see what your question is. I see what your question is, but when we
Yeah.
say, so when we ask the question, where was the first man? Where was first man?
Homo sapien.
Where did we say? Where did we say where do we say that their first man come from?
The Great Lakes region.
Africa. Africa. We start out with Africa, right?
Yeah. But
So,
specifically, the Great Lakes region.
when we say first man, what are we talking about? Are we talking about Homo sapiens sapien? Are we talking about the first thing that was able to walk?
Now,
What are we talking about?
That's a great question. So if you're going to say first man, what determines him being a man? Is gender?
Right. So now that's what. So this is the question first. So we got to first answer that one first. When we say when we go to Africa, when we say first man, the first man rose where? You say Africa. It doesn't matter where, it's just Africa.
Then it matters. It matters.
I'm just saying, for my point, it doesn't, right? What I'm saying is, when you say, where's first man come from? You can say Tanzania. Okay, he come from Tanzania. Okay, you say, okay, now, next question is, what man is it? Is it I mean, what man would it be? What man would it be, man? Would it which one would it be, man? Because there's a lot of them.
According to what we were just looking at, we just looked at the map, it showed Homo sapien in orange. Yes, clearly, sir. We all saw that.
Yes, sir.
I got it brain stamped. We saw 300,000 in Morocco.
Right. When we talking about Homo sapien sapien.
Wait a minute. No, we talking about whatever that map said.
Right. You said 300,000. That's Homo sapien sapien up in Morocco.
I think it just says sapien. I don't think it says sapien.
Same thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I think it says. So if it said Homo sapien, it had him 300,000 bones in Morocco.
Right.
Now in the area, the Great Lakes region, what they did see at 400,000 was they didn't even call him Homo sapien, but he was in Tanzania. Now Tanzania is part of that Great Lakes region, that area, right?
What I'm saying is, King, what I'm saying is this. When we say the first man that rose in Africa was not human, right? Can we agree with that?
Wait a minute. If it ain't man, how's he human?
I didn't say human. I said first man.
You said first man is not or isn't human. What you say? Not human? Wait a minute, man. Hold up. What is a man here? I need to I'm lost now. Who the fuck is the man? Come on, man.
That's the same thing Jamie trying to ask.
Who is the man?
What I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. We don't know. Listen, what I'm saying is, I don't think that. Listen, because we didn't become Homo sapiens sapien until after a certain time. So before that, what was going on, right? So what I'm saying is, those that was before us,
hominids.
Okay,
they got a name for them. They call them hominids.
Right, the hominids, right? Okay, so the hominids. Okay, so the hominids before us, right? Was it? Do you call them human, or do you call them fully man
You know what?
like us?
You know,
Are they
and,
like
and
us?
that's a great question because and
Right.
I think
That's what I'm saying. So if you go further back and further back, if we go to start at Tanzania, that wasn't us. That wasn't like a man
no,
like
no.
me and
The
you.
map showed that. The map showed that wasn't us. The map didn't even call it Homo sapien. The map showed it as somebody, a hominid. It didn't call it.
Right.
It had a
There
name
you
for
go.
it. But
Right.
go back to what I'm talking about. Hell, we talking about Morocco 300, and you ain't got no 300,000. You ain't
Wait,
got nothing down
no.
there.
But what I'm saying is the
No,
point
ain't
is
no
this. The point is this. By the
what.
time we get to 300,000, King, by the time we
Yeah.
get to 300,000, we something else.
No, 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 no. Man, who the hell you think you're talking to? No, pull that map back up and read that shit
Hey,
again.
that's still look. When we was in
It's something
Tanzania,
else.
King,
Put the
when we
map
came,
up, Gerald.
listen,
Pull
when
the
we
map
came
up.
into
Stop playing, man.
listen, when we
Put
came
the
up
No,
in
map
man.
up,
Tanzania,
Gerald.
No.
I
hey,
don't
listen,
understand it.
listen, when we came up in Tanzania, King, right? We wasn't.
I
It
don't
wasn't
think
us.
that's the issue. Let's
That
talk
wasn't.
about.
That was another hominid. That wasn't us.
That's true. I agree.
So
I agree.
what rose up in Tanzania to be the first whatever hominid to rise up in Tanzania was
Mhm.
not me and you, right? It
That's
didn't come.
not.
That didn't come until later on. So
I got you.
they're right by saying that the first man rose in Tanzania. Yeah, okay, but it wasn't us, right? It was just something
Well,
else. It was another hominid, right?
we
That's
ain't
all I'm
talking about
saying.
the hominids. All I'm saying, my question wasn't even about the I let that go because I got some information on them too. I'm saying let's just stick with the Homo sapien.
Okay,
I'm just
Homo
saying
sapien.
if you can tell me how the oldest bones get up north and ain't no old bones as at least old as him found down south where they say he originated from.
Up in Homo sapiens because, like I said, how if the oldest bones of Homo now if they was looking for the oldest bones of a boulder that's up there up there at the 600,000, they'll probably find it in Tanzania.
That's a good character. Right. That's why I came back
If
on.
they want to
I
look
knew I
into
was going to
something
get back
that's
on
that
to something
800,000 years ago, they could probably find it in Tanzania and don't know, right? But what they saying is when they what they found in Tanzania was the first
And I ain't engaged either.
Homo sapiens sapien
I said I'm not engaged
bone
either.
120,000. That's all they saying at that time. Of what, right? That's all they said at that time. But
I still that none of that explains to me based on this map, based on what you have in front of me, based on this visible evidence. Still can explain to me. Now, only thing that can explain is that they haven't found them or they have not looked. But if you find human or what they call Homo sapien remains that have been dated at 300,000 years in the north, Morocco, that's the furthest north you can go on the continent.
Right.
And the mileage between Morocco and the Great Lakes region, what would you say? What would you say that is? About what, 600, 700,000, maybe 1,000 miles, maybe?
Even more than that.
So if we know man traveled and he moved, and we all talk about how he traveled up the Nile, but he didn't just travel up the Nile. There were many different riverways. And so if he got up there through riverways and through travel, if he's not the oldest and he's 300,000, where his mama and his daddy? Where his grandmama now? Are you going to tell me he the first human, Homo sapien? And if he is, we got the information wrong. But if he isn't, or if he isn't, I'm going to say if he isn't, we got the information wrong. If he is, he got a mom and a daddy who was also Homo sapien. His mom and daddy were no monkeys. His mama's mama were no damn monkeys. So again, if you don't have that, I don't see what I don't understand it. What don't we not see? So if we do the math, He must be older than.
Well, right now, all we can do is show what
He
the
older.
hell.
He older. The Jebel Herbu dude is older than Homo, and
Right,
they're both called Homo sapiens.
right.
Mhm.
But
That's
what we're
it.
saying,
I don't see what the problem is, though.
no, ain't no problem. I'm just saying that if the concern is that Homo sapien is a certain age, what age is he? What age is he? 300,000? Is he older than 300,000? Homo sapien.
If you find remains, and the remains is the skull, and
Okay.
and if they do that, and if that skull falls upon what they call Homo sapien, then them dates are changed.
Okay. But
As I was
dig
saying
this.
earlier,
Dig this.
when Diop was out in '87, and he put out his book, the Omo and the Ethiopian, that was the oldest they had. That was the oldest remains they had. The remains is found in the Great Lake region. So the narrative goes, the oldest remains we have that are found in the Great Lake regions, and this is the evidence.
Okay.
That it's changed. All we doing is we can't.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's all right then.
And
So
all I'm saying is with your logic and with my logic is it don't mean that they have found all the evidence, even in that
I agree. I totally agree. Agree. But it ain't gonna, but the evidence, in any evidence I believe that they're gonna find is gonna show that he's older than we thought, not younger. Surely not younger. Because
I agree with you. I agree with
here's the
you.
reason why. Here's the reason why. Because the way that Leon was trying to explain that how the time it takes to measure these celestial movements and the recording of it, and then the documentation of those recordings are much longer than what we first thought, what we first believed. And with just recently hearing Anthony Brown say, them pyramids are older than what we first thought by tens of thousands of years.
Well, if you're gonna base it off that, then you gotta say that what was it that they found some, what was it what was the oldest thing that they ever found, the oldest hominid they ever found?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Because the oldest hominid?
Yeah, the oldest hominid they ever found, man. How old would that be?
And that's a great statement because
it's one that's older. It's one that's older than
Artie.
It's a
Not
couple
Artie.
that's older than Lucy, right?
Artie,
Artie. Way to millions.
Artie, I think is old. Artie is older than Lucy, I think. Let me see. And it's oldest hominid. I think Artie oldest hominid. Let's see. Oldest hominid fossils. Let's see. Artie. The new fossils of Ardipithecus ramidus. This is as of 2009. It says, let me see if there's some older than that. The skull of Sahelanthropus, widely considered the earliest fossil.
I got 4.4 million years ago.
Okay, Smithsonian got some. Let's see. I just pulled up something on Smithsonian as of February 2024. Chad, North Central Africa in 2001. The skull of Sahelanthropus tachydenus, widely considered the earliest fossil hominin, following the evolutionary split between chimpanzee and human, and split between chimpanzee and human ancestors was recovered in Chad in North Central Africa. Let's see what year they're saying. That's
I got 4.4 million years ago.
Yeah, that's and I think Artie, does it say the name of it? Because Artie.
No, I don't see a name on it.
Okay, let me see what Artie
I
comes
got
up.
I got 500,000 in Asia, and Artie is the oldest.
Artie comes up. That's Artie he talking about. Artie at 4.4 million, and that's Ethiopian fossil.
That's in East Africa. That's in East Africa.
Ethiopia, yes, sir.
That's East Africa. Okay.
Artie, I got a video on that. I think I sent y'all the video on that one. I sent a either Discovery Channel or the Nature Channel. One of them did a video. I thought I sent that, but I will. I got it in my library. But it
All
talks
right,
about Artie.
So watch this. 4.4 million years ago in East Africa. That's how long it took us to get to that point.
Get to what point? From where to where?
Shit, to the point to knowing that information.
Huh?
That you said, how long did it take for us to get to know to know about the great year, right?
Well, yeah. Again, how long would you have had to study that? And I think that was a question
How
in
long
that
would it take you to get that knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that it took them 4.4 million years.
So you're saying they were, now when we say
What he's saying, he's just thinking the evolution of man from hominid to, I guess,
the
Homo sapiens.
So you're saying the hominids were all.
It took us that far, that long. We might ain't no telling how long we. I'm just saying.
So if it ain't no telling how long, why wouldn't we consider being older than they say we are?
Because we don't have no archaeology.
We just said that. But if it just ain't no telling, we
don't have that proof. But we don't have that proof. We don't have that proof.
Again, but you just said it ain't no telling. So we both agree. We all agree that they gonna continue doing research, and the research is gonna go even further. I believe that.
Man, they gonna continue to pull out older bones. They gonna continue to go further back. And as that happens, we gonna go, and then we gonna go further back.
And you know something too. I also think, and I'm reading this new book now that's picked up, but I also see too now these guys are working to try to justify their own existence too. So I think those dates.
He was posing that question because
those dates could be kind of perky because they want to put themselves in the picture or put themselves close to the picture. But I don't think they don't really. They just scratching the surface. I don't think they really want to know how old folks been around.
Damn, I keep having mine.
Because I think those numbers are off. Because a lot of technology, a lot of knowledge had to have been going through for a lot of that stuff to be going on, man. With those Orion's belt, those stars there, man, and that was just amazing. It just phantoms my mind to see how long it would take, to develop that and then to understand that and then to have your people understand it and to be supporting this thing. That's amazing. I mean, yeah. So when we talk about evolution and how long it took people to do a whole lot of stuff, that's interesting. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
I ain't dug in no dirt not to look at no bones. I ain't scratched no surface, but I study the evidence and I read and study like we all do. And always looking for cutting edge evidence and information about the newest developments on studying bones and teeth. Because they spent a lot of money doing this. They spent a lot of money and time doing this, and it surely ain't to liberate our ass. I bet you. Yeah, they spent a lot of money. They spend more money digging in the dirt on that continent of Africa than any other continent on this planet.
Damn right they do.
Now the question becomes as to why.
Because they know.
Who's looking for whose history? They must be looking for their own. Why would
that's
they than yours?
They're looking for themselves.
Thank you.
That's what they do. But the deeper they go, the blacker it get.
And let me grab something for you. Let me read something. I got it.
But yeah, no, man.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah. Okay, what you got? Zodiac. It's and
I
it's
want to play this again, and if when y'all listen to this, it'll tell y'all how they figured it out. From my understanding, unless I got it wrong, they tell it.
Band marks the pathway of the sun through the constellations. It results in the phenomena of the seasons. The ancient systems of measuring the year were based upon the equinoxes and the solstices. The year always began with the vernal equinox, celebrated March 21st with rejoicing to mark the moment when the sun crossed the equator northward up the zodiacal arc. The summer solstice was celebrated when the sun reached its most northerly position, and the day appointed was June 21st. After that time the sun began to descend toward the equator, which it recrossed southbound at the autumnal equinox, September 21st. The sun reached its most southerly position at the winter solstice, December 21st. Each year the sun passes entirely around the zodiac and returns to the point from which it started, the vernal equinox, and each year it falls just a little short of making the complete circle of the heavens in the allotted period of time. As a result, it crosses the equator just a little behind the spot in the zodiacal sign where it crossed the previous year. Each sign of the zodiac consists of 30 degrees, and as the sun loses about 1 degree every 72 years, it regresses through one entire...
They figured that out right there. Every 72 years, the sun loses 1 degree. It's a science to that. That's not a play number. That makes sense? I don't know if anybody.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I hear you.
So again, if y'all saying we was watching the stars, we'll see that 72 years when it lose, there was no right then.
Okay, listen too. Also, right here, they're talking about again the sun. Their focus here on this is the sun. It's that solar worship. But what about the stellar? What about the lunar as well? That all took some time as well to understand, to track, to measure, and then to move from one study to another. We got to put all these together. That's the field said. We got to put all these together to determine how long we've been doing all that shit.
There's no argument about that. Nobody never argued that we was not stellar or solar or lunar. Again, that's not even an argument.
No, the time frame, total time that man has been looking up in the sky. And what the question I think becomes, if humans have been looking up in the sky long enough to say they're 600,000 years old, that's the big question. And then if we can put all this together, as much time he has spent looking at the sun, looking at the stars, and then looking at the moon and studying the moon, all of it, if you do all that based on what Leon put up, if you add those numbers together, you talking about modern man doing this. And we ain't talking about primitive man. We talking about modern man. Then you got to see how long from modern man to go from primitive to modern. That's a time frame that's probably spanning some thousands of years. So again, when they start putting all this together, we're gonna probably see that people have been much older than we originally thought. Let me go grab some real quick. I'm gonna step away for a moment.
We can say when we playing with these numbers, we can say the Egyptian or the Kemetic civilization lasted an age over 1,060 years. It's just Kemet civilization. Okay. Now when we deal with the studying of this here, and again we give people, well, okay, we can say we were stellar, we can say we were lunar, but we don't get civilization until we solar. So if we say, okay, we studied the stars from way back then and they give us our numbers, that mean we built pyramids 300,000 years ago in in Kemet, who built the Great Pyramid. That Great Pyramid we're looking at is over 300,000 years ago in Kemet. And then our science tells us that we come from the south. We don't start in Kemet. That'd be the argument when people big up Kemet. We come from the south. So we're going to go way back from 300 years and go up to Kemet. It just, that don't
All
make
right,
no
fellas,
sense.
I'm back. Okay, let me pull that up again.
That will make the Great Pyramid older than the Step Pyramid, which just things are going backwards. So.
Well, are you basing that on how it was built?
Well, I think it's a video that y'all was showing that Imhotep, had the science and whatnot, and that was no 280,000 years ago, and I don't know what's going on with that.
Right.
We reversing whatever we think we believe.
I don't know if they was that old.
Some craziness on it is all I'm saying.
Let me see. Oh, it is.
I'm gonna continue to play, but again, if we watching it in that 1 degrees is noticed every 72 years, the science will add up. When they're saying they lose that, that's the stars moving in the background. Each degree, which gonna move that constellation, it's gonna move one constellation out and another constellation in 160 years. That 72 gonna do that shit 30 times. And that constellation moves out. That's the math. That's us looking at the stars. But I'm gonna keep playing, see if we can,
Yeah.
And as the sun loses about 1 degree every 72 years, it regresses through one entire constellation, or sign, in approximately 2,160 years, and through the entire zodiac in about 25,920 years. Authorities disagree concerning these figures. This retrograde motion is called the precession of the equinoxes. This means that in the course of about 25,920 years, which constitute one great solar or Platonic year, each one of the 12 constellations occupies a position at the vernal equinox for nearly 2,160 years, then gives place to the previous sign. Among the ancients, the sun was always symbolized by the figure and nature of the constellation through which it passed at the vernal equinox. The period of 2,160 years required for the regression of the sun through one of the zodiacal constellations is often termed an age. According to this system, the age secured its name from the sign through which the sun passes year after year as it crosses the equator at the vernal equinox. From this arrangement are derived the terms the Taurian age, the Aryan age, the Piscean age, and the Aquarian age. During these periods, or ages, religious worship takes the form of the appropriate celestial sign, that which the sun is said to assume as a personality in the same manner that a spirit assumes a body. Future events. As the zodiacal band marks the pathway of the sun through the constellations, it results in the phenomena of the seasons. The ancient systems of measuring the year were based upon the equinoxes and the solstices. The year always began with the vernal equinox, celebrated March 21st with rejoicing to mark the moment when the sun crossed the equator northward up the zodiacal arc. The summer solstice was celebrated when the sun reached its most...
I think we finished it, my bad. I was going through it again, I apologize. But as I'm saying, from my understanding, let me get this off. Sorry about that. Yeah, from my understanding, watching it, somebody steadily observing, if they had the priesthoods that were set up to observe a longer period of 72 years, they would watch something that would happen in the sky. the sky would change, and if they observed another 72 years, it would do it again, over.
Great year, great year.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question real quick? Carrie asked a question, and my
Okay.
answer is no to it, but she asked if Kemet is considered an age in light of what you just showed. What my notes say is that one sign equals an age.
What I was speaking about is the timeline of Kemet. Kemet lasted over 2,160 years. That 2,160 years represent an age. That makes sense?
That makes sense, Carrie?
Yeah, thank you.
She said thank you,
So
yes.
Kemet had a civilization that lasted a whole age, is what I was trying to say.
Okay.
It lasted a whole age. That's how long a civilization lasted. America now is what, 200 and some years old?
Right.
Yeah, what I'm talking about. So, just the time and the knowledge that they had dealing with this type of information.
So if they was, I'm just looking back at doing the math. This if there is, damn.
Yeah, let's do it. Bring the hard questions out so we can get to the bottom of it. We have understanding. That's what we.
It ain't gonna be none. It ain't gonna be none until the more evidence come out. Because I study like I study, you study like you study. It ain't gonna be none. Because like I said, I can see how the numbers can be skewed. Because if you take that long to study some shit, you got to take that long to develop that knowledge. You got to take a long time to develop that knowledge, first and foremost, in order to get to where you can start writing shit down and say, you know what? Yeah, we gonna make sure we gonna make sure we keep this accurate information. 20, because Leon, I'm just reading what Leon wrote. It says 20, they did this 10 times to be able to study this. If that's true, that's mathematically, that's 260,000 years they have been, whoever they is, studying, or wherever they were studying, where they were paying attention, studying these stars. Was it Kemet? Was it somewhere in between? Where were all this taking place? Because it was taking place in Kemet. That's much older than, 8,000, 6,000, 7,000 years. You know what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense? If tracking of this information takes so much time, wouldn't that predate the time the pyramids were built? That we know of, that they say they're built at?
Seems like it would.
Because I think records show, they say Khufu, Khafre, one of them was built at what? Estimate, that's within 7,000 years. But we just got that we're seeing that they're tracking something that takes longer than that. And then also, so then it leads us to, if they knew a star was gonna be visible and they wanted to build something to see that star, they would have to build it before they knew the star was coming in order for it to be built when it gets there. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, because that takes some serious mathematics, brother. How long does it take to develop that?
They're saying
26,000 years. That's a great year.
That is a damn good question, E. I mean, that's a good
No
question.
one has that answer. Shit, I'm telling you, we all do work here. Ain't no answers there for that yet. Unless you say, wait a minute, this shit must be older than we thought. It must be older than we thought, because you can't map that without being there, without witnessing it.
But E, let me ask you this. Does this make sense to you? Watch
What?
this. Watch this. Watch this, man. Okay, now, what you're saying, man, I agree with you.
26,000 years.
I
26,000
agree.
years.
I agree
Just,
with
just,
you.
just that alone predates the big pyramids. That
Well,
time alone.
well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say about that. What I'm saying is, I agree about how long did it take for them to get that knowledge. I agree with that question. That's a good question. Now, when I look at it though, when we look at what the hominid that was found 4.4 million years ago, right?
Well, let me before you go any further, let me
Okay,
just say
go ahead.
real quick, the hominids are what they would one of the characteristics as they describe hominids as something that wasn't he didn't have that intelligence of the Homo sapien as far as you know the I guess what do you call it, ability to reason or something of that nature they call it. But so hominid wouldn't even be the one that would be recording this information. You think the hominid, I think we
That's just a thought that we come with. I can't.
just wondering, would that be the hominid? Because we're talking about Australopithecus. Is Lucy the one that was kind of tracking these stars and documenting this shit, or it was further after that? Because
No,
that's 2 million years ago, 2.5. But all I'm just saying was stick with 26,000 years.
and use this for example. Just for an example, real quick, right?
Ooh,
Just for an example, real quick. Now look at this. If we go over here to this corner right here,
let me see that.
4.4.
Could you make it a little bit bigger? Let me see
Uh,
if I can. Let me see.
no, yeah, there you go.
No, okay, yeah, I can see that. Great, great. That's
All
Artie.
right,
That's Artie right there.
all right. So listen, what I'm saying is, if we go here, 4.5 million to 3.8 million years ago. This is what, don't you think that this is what came up first?
What
Don't
you
you think
mean?
that, don't you think that this is the first? I mean, like when you say that at this point, according to this is the first man.
Who said that?
Is that what you said? So wait a
Hell
minute.
no,
Okay. So wait.
man.
Wait. All right,
Man,
wait
what
a minute.
the
All
hell?
right, wait. All right, so wait. Listen to this then. Okay, right.
The
So
fuck,
listen.
man.
Hold on. Wait. So what do you think that arose in Tanzania? What you think? You said that the first hominid rose in Tanzania, right? Am I right or wrong? So when you say that, this
No,
goes
no,
back to
no,
my
no,
question.
no, no.
No,
Don't hold
wait.
on. You done changed
Wait,
the maps
no,
up. Then you gonna refer back to the map. You
no,
ain't got up. Go back to that map. You want to refer to that one?
no. What map?
The map you referred to.
Gerald's man.
Hell, that's the one you said. I was referring to what the map said.
Yeah, no, I'm going. That's why I'm trying to get back to that.
Hey,
Listen.
Eric say you
No.
cheat, man.
Come
Eric say
on,
you
I'm gonna get back.
man. Come on. You
No,
bringing the weakest game to the strongest player,
I'm
man.
gonna get back to that. That's why I want to listen. We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna. Hey, look, we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna bring it right together, right? I'm gonna bring it together, man. Watch what I
Okay.
watch
Okay.
this. Watch
I'm
this.
listening.
Listen to this. The question is, when I say, where was the first man? Where was first man? Where did first man come from? What's your answer, man?
The continent of Africa.
Okay, now at this point, tell me what hominid was that
All of them.
at that
All of
time?
them. All what time?
At the time that first man rose, that you just said,
No. I just said shit. You said first man or first hominid. Which one?
first hominid, all right, first, okay. When I listen to what I said, when a person say, where did the first man come from?
human. You mean that man is short for human?
No, see, that ain't the goddamn question. Listen, hell no. Listen, man. When
You
I
ain't gonna
say,
trip me up, man. You
nah,
can't do
I'm
that.
not,
So either
that's not
you gotta be
that's not a
specific on who you
tripping.
talking
That's
about.
not.
I got an
That's not.
etymology book. So any word you're gonna give me,
Listen,
I'm gonna look it up so we both understand what we're trying to say. How about that? I meant because once I say one thing, you say, oh no, this is what I meant. So we're gonna say what we refer to as man.
no. I'm
What are you
saying,
referring to as man?
well, okay. So how do you
Now he got another question. I just asked a question. Now you asked me a question. Who do you refer to as man? When you say man, what are you referring to? Hominid or human?
No, I'm thinking. What I'm saying is, this is what I'm thinking of. I'm saying hominid.
Okay, are you using those words interchangeable? Man and hominid?
I'm saying
It sounds like you
okay.
are.
Well, okay. I'm gonna say hominid.
Okay, well, looking at this map.
Okay, but hold it. But okay, first, let's get an understanding. When I say
Okay.
okay, so when you say this first man come from the United States of America, you say hell no. That first man came from first man. The very first man rose or
Out
came
of
about
Africa. Out of
out of
Africa.
Africa. Right. Now, when you say that, according to
I'm
this graph,
speaking.
according to this graph, what are you speaking on? What was it? What is it that you
According to
said
this graph, now. Okay, now let me look.
Go ahead. According to that, now when you said in Africa, specify what is it at that time? The first man, or first whatever you call it, hominid, man, skull, whatever. At this point in time, now you see right here, it's 4.5 million years ago. They gotta look like a damn jawbone.
That's hominids. That's Artie.
Okay. So no, I
But
ain't
you don't get
saying
into
I'm not saying.
you don't
Now
get into Homo erectus until it looks like 1.8 million to 400,000. Then from 400,000 to 150,000, you have what they call African archaic modern Homo sapien. African archaic and modern Homo sapien sitting at 400,000 to 150,000. Then you have 120 to present. That's what I'm looking at. Is that right?
Okay.
Is that what I'm looking at?
Right. Now, I mean, okay. So now that's the graph. Now, when I asked you the question, where the first man arise at? He ain't rise in America. He rose in Africa. According to this graph.
Again, I just asked you, when you say man, are you talking about human? Or are you talking about hominid? And I asked you if you're using those words interchangeable.
Well, whatever
you don't want to say if he's human. Whatever. You don't want to say the word human.
No, I want to say because I'm asking you where was first man. So
no, I'm not going to ask. What do you refer to as man? Which one? Hell, we live in the same map.
You said.
Which one would you call man?
You said no. Listen.
Which one would you call man?
Well, what I'm saying
which
is,
one would you call man?
Homo sapiens sapien.
Where is he at?
He started. He up here. You said.
Where is he at?
You said African archaic and modern.
I just said that. Right. I just said that.
That's okay. So now that man right there, that's the first man you talking about?
No, that's the one you just described.
Yeah.
Okay, what that number say underneath there?
150,000.
400,000 to 150,000.
Right.
Yeah. So, what's your question again?
Okay, so now, the 4.5 million year old Artie is not the first man, right?
Looks like they're showing Artie as today the oldest hominid found. Ardipithecus ramidus a anamersis. That's 4.5 to 3.8 million years ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then they got another one.
That's not.
Afarensis.
That's not who we're referring to as one of the first people to
No,
start the Earth, right?
I don't think scientists refer to those as human just yet, but they're finding out that Artie probably used tools. Artie probably slept in trees and knew how to build home shelter. They knew that they think he was able to do that. We're doing that kind of stuff. They figure, and they also looking at he was probably walking on two legs. He was what they call bipedal. He was bipedal. That's one of the things they look at when they're looking at development of humans, his bipedalism. They say Artie was more than likely bipedal on a regular basis, although he still probably climbed in trees to sleep, to be away from predators and shit like that. But yes, he was, yeah. But again, they don't know if they based on what they found after they found Artie, with more developed, more skulls and stuff. They're saying that early hominid probably didn't have a developed voice box to where he actually producing language and speaking words not until later on. Now, yeah, so that's what I've gathered in my studies and in my stuff that I have. But again, those numbers, because they just found Artie. He's fairly new, in the field of anthropology. He's the newest one, so to speak, I guess. So, and they just, according to what they dig and where they dig, they say they have a lot more to dig, obviously, a lot more space to dig. So I'm sure we'll find some stuff that makes us more aware of our age. But I think one of the things that helps us is to see how long we've been doing something on this earth. And I think that's where Leon's piece comes into play, that them numbers, how do you, if it's 26,000 years, who were the ones doing it? Where were they? And how long were they there? And where they came from? Because what we know about, what we learned is that they came from the Great Lakes region. And they traveled up. And they say that once those who made it, who got to Egypt or Kemet, they came ready to roll. They was knowledgeable. They came to build.
So they said they did it 10 times, right, Eric?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Yeah, it says 10 times, and I did the math on that.
They did it 10 times. That'd be 260,000 years ago, right?
Yeah, but even if they did it one time, even if they did it once, that's 26,000, right? If they did it one time, that number, where do the pyramids fit in that number? If it was 26,000 years, and we've already said the three main pyramids are approximately what? 6, 7, 8, let's just say 10. That means they were studying before they built the pyramids. That means they had to have had the knowledge of how to build the pyramids before they actually built them. So if they got their knowledge from studying the celestial beings and doing measurements, then that in itself had to take some time as well.
Well, we see the improvement.
So again, how do we answer that question? Just that question alone.
What's that?
26,000 years. Kemet. Kemet's not 26,000 years old, or is it? Is Kemet 26,000 years old? Could it be? Or did they have this knowledge before they got there? And if they did, where'd they acquire it? Because they had to be looking up for a good, at least that long, and keeping great records.
Good question.
So how old are we? How old can we be? How old do we have to be? But what we do, we got to measure what they left for us to measure. I don't know. It's right there. 26 stacks. Where were they? But I'm saying that if they said that 300,000 years was the stellar, now that predates solar and lunar, those who are studying the stellar, they added to their knowledge of the lunar than the solar. They didn't lose their stellar, but collectively, that was 300,000 years that they had a science put together. How long was you looking up before you put it to a science, before you understood that was the science? That's a hell of a question for me. Anybody got some answers?
Not me, sir.
Because I've been baffled with that one for a while. That's why I keep my face in the books and looking. And them Dogon was on to something. And this book, this sister, man, Marimba Ani, psychologist. And she studied the Dogon. What was something she wrote, man? let me find this. Something she said the Dogon. Oh, about
In Urugu?
Yorugu. Urugu.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, a hell of an entry. Find that, man. That was pretty heavy. That's the name of the book, but it's also Incantation. Dr. Clark did the author's note. Here you go. Okay, check this out. I'm gonna read this. According to the Dogon people of Mali and West Africa, Amma, the creator, ordained that all created beings should be living manifestations of the fundamental universal principle of complementary or twinness. This principle manifests itself as a wholeness which is created when female and male pairs join in all things. Such pairing establishes equilibrium, cooperation, balance, and harmony. Amma therefore equipped each being with twin souls, both female and male at birth. But in one of these primordial placentas, the male soul did not wait for the full gestation period to be born. This male being was known as Jurugu, or Ogo in parentheses, who arrogantly wished to compete with Amma and to create a world better than that which Amma had created. With his fragmented placenta, he created Earth, but it could only be imperfect since he was incomplete, that is, born prematurely without his female twin soul. Realizing that he was flawed and therefore deficient, Urugu returned to Amma, seeking his complementary female self, but Amma had given his female soul away. Urugu, forever incomplete, was doomed to perpetually search for the completeness that could never be his. The earth he had defiled in the act of self-creation was now inhabited by single-soul, impure, and incomplete beings like himself. Urugu's descendants, all eternally deficient, originated in an incestuous act since he had procreated with his own placenta, the representation of his mother. Try to think about that, man. That's from the Dogon. Their view of the earth, their view of creation.
Deep, very, very
Pretty deep, man.
Man.
Damn, it says Urugu descends all eternally deficient, originated in an incestuous act, since he had procreated with his own placenta, the representation of his mother. And she's talking about, this book is talking about, this is an African-centered critique of European cultural thought and behavior. I just got the book and I said, damn, that's pretty interesting. But my point in speaking that, but she, it speaks to those folks who had been doing their homework and doing their studying. They've been doing that a long time. And I think those people got overlooked by the colonizer because they felt that colonizers, like I think we was talking about that one day. They think they ain't know what they ain't. Them people's backwards. They ain't doing shit. They over here barking at trees or worshiping a damn monkey or some shit. We don't leave them alone. And them folks had the keys to the universe, my man. And that's pretty interesting. So the search continues for me, man. But numbers, yeah, we got to, who giving us the numbers and what's what are they saying about them? What, you can only, I don't know. Just follow the information, try to follow research. And if I knew how to read goddamn carbon dating, I'd be over to doing my goddamn self. But until I can learn how to do that shit, like Phil say, we all got second and third hand goddamn information. And none of us digging no goddamn dirt. Shit. That's it. Yeah. I just can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I just know that so far what we do have, what we so far what we do have is as far as the archaeology, I mean the anthropological proof so far.
Who of who? Who we studying? And do we know at least 5
Do I need to know 5 or what?
archaeologists that we study? Are we studying at least 5
No,
or I mean, do
no.
we cross referencing?
Only scientists I study and anthropologists it would be not really study but was Dion.
Yeah.
That's it.
Petrie did some work. Petrie did some work. Petrie and a few others. There's a lot of them, man. There's a lot of them out there who was in there scratching and paying them Africans over there to bring them artifacts and shit, paying them probably nothing, and had the Africans doing the work, scratching and scraping and bringing them bones and shit. Yeah.
The Africans was always telling them where the shit was at.
Hold on. I didn't know you was gone.
No, I had stepped away and came right back with doing my auntie for a minute. Yeah, they had the Africans tell them where the stuff was at. You know, they're the ones who know. You know, so they go find a local who know the shit and pay them some stuff and give up the goods. You know, I always been that way. They always had some kind of helper with them. From Carter, who found King Chuck, all of them. They gotta find that local who know where the stuff at. You know where the bodies are. Well,
That's the end of the night for me, comrades.
Well, yeah, man. Let's just keep searching, man. Keep searching. That's all we gotta do is keep searching. That's what else we gonna do? Shit. Try to figure it out.
That's all we can do, man. I mean, you know, what else, you know, that's all we can
It's
do. And all
fun.
we can work with
It's fun to me.
all we can do is all we can work with, you know, all we can do is work with what we got, man. We ain't, you know, what we got available to us, man.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
That's right. And
that's all we
right.
got, man. And so
That's
we
right.
do the best we can, just like Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark.
That's right. That's
And they
right.
all did what they had, what they could do with what they had, man. They
Yep.
don't. Well, one thing they don't have, they don't have what we got, what we got available to us now. And
That's right.
And
And that's why we're able to go further. That's why we're able to go further because we got new information and new research, new technology. Yep. And new findings. And
that's right.
you got more and more Africans who are getting involved in, discovering their past as well, who are also deeply involved in the research as well. And shit.
Hey,
Um,
I do want to send my condolences to Kyoko and his family. Y'all know Kyoko passed away, man.
Oh yeah, I saw that, man. I sent my condolences on that Facebook. I saw that, man. My condolences as well.
So the brother Kyoko passed away, man. We want to give our condolences to the brother and his family. We sorry to for such a great loss, man. He was a good brother. We had some real good conversations with that brother, man. You know, he was a member of Sankofa, man, and he, you know, he pretty much he kind of started with us, man, a little bit. I mean, he came on a little later, but you know, he was here, man, and you know, we just want to say, you know, rest easy, King.
So,
I say. Also, the Gerald had a fallen comrade too.
my condolences to that, Gerald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's I mean it's he left a record. I only met him. I met him twice, but he just had came on and I met him, and he was in good spirits. And it's a good. I don't know if that was a Friday. That was a Friday, so it probably wasn't recorded. But the brother knew his history. He was in good spirits, and I think he was saying that he thought they had found the cure and everything was turning the right way. You know.
You talking about Kyoko?
Yeah, so I hated to hear that because
Yeah.
like I said, we had talked to him maybe 2 weeks ago, and he was in good spirits, smiling. You know,
Man. Yeah.
yeah.
It was good to go, man. I mean, that was like all of a sudden, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to communicate a little bit on through text with his wife, man, and that was really emotional, man.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Rest in power.
Wow. Yeah, man. So but yeah, fam, and Gerald, we wanna you know, send condolences to you too, brother, for the loss of the brother. You know what I'm saying? That you know,
Appreciate it.
that we lost from, you know, on the team, man. And we wanna send our condolences to the family
Yeah,
and
my
friends
condolences as well.
and friends. And
Appreciate
you know, rest easy, King.
Yeah, rest in power, Brother Allen Singleton. Yeah.
Yeah, rest in power, brother Allen and brother Kyoko, no doubt.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, fam. Hey, listen, man. Nice Bill family. I loved it with y'all, man, as always. I don't know if y'all knew it or not, but we did go live. We are live. But I ain't get a chance to say nothing to nobody, man, because it was already
It was on and popping.
it was already going. But good work, family. Good questions. I think Baba Dixon had a cold question, man. I thought that was a really damn good question. Eric, same thing. Good ass question, King. You right. You ain't gonna get no answer to that right now.
Hell no. Hell no.
You ain't gonna
Shit
get no
no.
answer to that.
No.
Not one.
It would have already been stated if we had to answer. It would have been better if somebody would have been said that.
At least not one that's gonna make no sense. Put it like that. So
well, hell, that's the answer. If it was 26,000 years, what was we at? If we studied it, if we got that set, what was we at?
That's a hell of a question, man. I mean,
right
if you're gonna go with that, if we going with that great year thing, then yeah, that's a hell of a question. I mean, you can't
scratch the great year out. Go with the stellar worshipers.
Okay, so
the people, if you got a calendar that tells you what the sky look like, how long you had to watch the sky to make a calendar. The calendar is in Dendera.
But my thing, like I said, man, we just have to make sure.
Right,
we still have to make sure that that it line up with the original, instead of the Greeks taking it, doing what they need to do with it to make it fit some kind of a narrative.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So in order to do that, you got to go back. You got to find, because the calendar, the Dendera calendar, doesn't that predate the Greeks?
The Dendera calendar.
Yes. Let me pull my map out now. But because that's before Greece, brother. So
what's before Greece?
The calendar, the calendar that was created
Oh yeah. I know it is. I'm saying, but what I'm
So,
saying
but
is,
so
do we have the original, or are we going off the Greek
the
version?
calendar is still there. You can look at the goddamn calendar. You can look it up. It's
Okay,
a physical calendar. It's in stone.
okay. That's it then.
Well, goddamn, that's what I'm saying. So again, when we looking at numbers, we looking at the sky, and we looking at how much we've been looking up there. It you that don't act. Look, man. Come on now. We math, shit, math. Them pyramids got to be older than that, man. Or somebody got to be older than that.
Let me tell you this. Now, and I've heard this. I've heard this.
Uh,
But I've really heard that the Sphinx is way older than what they said it is.
okay, exactly. I've also said that
Way older. I'm talking about I'm
this,
talking about a
this
ridiculous ass amount
Leo
of
and in the time of Leo. In the time of Leo, when that star was showing, that they said they wanted to make this to represent the visible star, the constellation Leo, not the star, but the
time.
constellation.
Hey,
Now,
Eric, I'm saying a ridiculous fucking time, dude.
hey, okay then, okay
How
then.
do you spell Indendra, Eric? I'm looking it up. I can't find it.
Dendera,
Dendra.
Dendera, I believe it is. Dendera.
I
Okay.
read that, man. I read that the Sphinx is supposed to be way older than they say it is, man.
And see, and that brings the question for me. It brings for the question: Do in order for the research for us to get the information, we got to play the numbers game with them because they remember we said earlier they want to be relevant and they got to put themselves somewhere near or close to this greatness. And what they're discovering is that they weren't nowhere around when this greatness was at its peak. They were at its greatest. They weren't anywhere around. So I think once those who are not are driven by Christianity, driven by supremacist white supremacy, those who are doing the work to bring forth the information that, as it sits in the dirt and on the stones, I think those folks are doing who still doing the work. Those going to be the ones who are going to keep bringing it to the light, and you'll see it's going to be older than we want to talk because if this is going to be explained to me. If you got that kind of time, who was looking up there? And then you say, yeah, you got to tell me something. It showed when Artie. I don't believe it was Artie writing stuff down and passing stuff on. It was somebody who had mamas and daddies and talking like we talking. Got had a communication, had offspring, had celebrated birthdays, celebrated deaths, had celebrations. They danced, they played music, all that. Those are the people who studied that sky. Not nobody else. They just been around longer than we think. That's all. Once we get beyond that, we can keep on doing the work, doing the hard work. But like I said, some weeks back, they want to study. They weren't looking up for nothing. We got to start looking up more. Yeah, they weren't looking up for nothing, brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and know what we're looking at and what it has to do with us on this planet. What's the effects? If it does it, do certain planets affect the gravitational pull? Does certain affect our mental capacity, our mental state? Does it affect the frequency in which we, absorb sound, vibrations, and energy? When other planets are either blocking or in the way or in view, we don't know yet. But there's a lot of talk about it. There's some people who got some hell of information out there. Yeah, for sure. It means something. Yeah. Uh-uh. They
Yeah,
thought
man.
we was just dancing and acting a damn fool or not, not knowing what we was doing. We was telling a story about what was going on above us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was elemental man. That was what was called elemental man. he knew enough to know that there was something greater than himself. He had to write that shit down. He made sounds and made symbols and made images of what he was talking about, and that's how he taught his kids. Yes, sir. But that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. When we started putting in natural disaster, we started putting in things that may even slow down growth and development, droughts, wars, or floods or whatever. You know, time, volcanic, whatever, all kind of stuff was going on. You know, so you would see that evolution took some time with all the things that go on now. And shit. Think about this. We've been doing this Jesus shit for some time. That don't make no goddamn and that don't make no goddamn sense. We do it for this long. That don't make no goddamn sense. That don't make sense. In the light of all this goddamn information, you still got people running to people like TD Jakes for any kind of spiritual knowledge. Get the hell out of here. But the point is, it lets you know sometimes shit take long, shit take time to evolve. Now, how you take some more rinky-dink ass knowledge like that and have people, the whole world, under this shit? Come on, Christianity. Come on, man. Come on. Because you had your ass whooped because of it. They whooped our ass and made you take this shit. And we ain't got over that ass whooping yet. Too scared to get another one. Motherfuckers said, no. We like Jesus now. You ain't got to whoop us no more.
We love Jesus.
Yeah, I say it. Lord and Savior. Now, but the point is that, yeah, the way you see evolution happens in our eyes, how long it's been, we can see how long Christianity been in power, and we can see how long we think it's gonna take. Shit, it might be another 500 goddamn years. Hell, so. But I just say that to say evolution process, and knowledge was a process, learning and recording and memory. A lot of this shit was probably memory. Was a process, and passing it on. Oh man, process. Those are all process. Those will take a long time. People die, get sick, forget shit, Alzheimer's, but somebody got to still keep it alive. Somebody kept it alive, and it has some variation shit because people move. But when you tell somebody they can look at all them things, and now you can look for yourself through a telescope and see all the shit they was talking about, and to see they made a damn calendar of it before you was able to see it, and then got recordings of how often these shit come to view. You gonna tell me we only 10,000 years old or 20,000 years old or whatever shit, or whatever they say? No, sir.
No, sir.
It don't add up, man. It don't add up. We look at the pyramid. It don't add up.
Right.
It don't add up. I don't know how old, and it really doesn't matter to me. I'm thankful for the information that they bestowed onto us that we've yet to all figure out. I don't give a damn really the numbers. Shit, the information. So what they was looking at. Because that when you look up in the sky, that ain't got no race.
So you think they lying? You think they lying about
I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know if like one of my speculations is trying to allow their story, because their story is the Christian story, their story to line up with this evidence that they're finding. So initially because it seems like this whole looking for stuff in the dirt happened after this whole Christianity thing hit hard and said, this is what God said we should be doing. And so that sent radicals to the dirt. They said, y'all lying to me. What y'all say? Who are they? What? Where y'all get this from? And so that's what some early guys to say, before there was a name for it, them early guys who started asking questions, going to the natives and get some information, they start calling them anthropologists. That's where that comes from. They start going to asking questions because they didn't like what they were getting from the church. That's what a lot of times that's what was forcing them wanting to know. But because a lot of that stuff, other thing they had was what the Greek dude left in his writings. So they said, let me see. This dude left some writings, but y'all say this. Now let's go back and look what they talk about in Greece because Greek talked about Africa. And that's where these Europeans got the information from, what the Greeks said. And the Greeks said, them motherfuckers is bad over there, y'all. Yeah, so that sparked their interest too. So so maybe their interest in playing with them numbers was to align themselves with the Catholic Church, just so justified being able to go over there and keep on studying. Because shit, I believe the king can shut that shit down. Hey, look here, man. No, y'all ain't going back over there no more. You go over there, you stay. You come over here bringing all this shit, fucking up our shit. No, I'm fact, if they was killing, if the Greeks were killing them guys who had came over into Africa to study, and the Greeks were killing these philosophers who was talking about these kind of stuff and how these folks had this unique knowledge here. Well, nobody trying to hear that, man, because that was counterproductive to what Greece as a government was doing. They don't want to hear that shit. They had their theory about their existence, and it didn't line up with what them guys who went over there to study that learned. So that could have been part of their strategy, is to say, well, that ain't that old. Hell, like they changed the size of the goddamn map. The continent of Africa shrunk the size of that motherfucker, so it makes sense to try to minimize your greatness. It makes sense to put them numbers closer to their existence. Oh yeah, because shortly after that, the Jews came about. Oh yeah, that's right. Get out of here. No, that don't line up. Y'all, that don't line up. And they know, and they find it out too. They find it out too. The common European probably can't trace his own heritage back for 10,000 years. And he'll tell you that. And the scientists, the European scientists will tell you that. So, and before they was trying to say they was much older than that. No. But anyway, as we continue reading and studying, researching.
Well, from that perspective, and I'll try to be real quick, you got, as you say, when Christianity came in, or prior to Christianity, as you started with the Greeks, they was always warring. It's a war always going on.
Oh yeah.
They got this warring going on all the way up until Constantine. He said he want to stop that. He made Christianity the religion.
Yeah, the state religion.
For a warring culture.
Yes.
Rome would kick your ass. So they got the religion as their culture.
And what they do, that's right. They say, oh, let's yeah.
That turned into the what we call with the popes and all that there. The Catholic whole thing. And so from that period, they running everything. That makes sense? Until you get Martin Luther. When Martin Luther do that, it opens up what they call an age of enlightenment. People rejecting that because it had been forced on them. If you don't believe
that's right.
That's right. So when this age of enlightenment opened up, they start, even white people start challenging Christianity. You got people here in America going
Christians, those were the ones who call themselves Christians. They were considered radical Christians.
Right. So once it's opened up for that age of enlightenment, then people can say, I'm going to go look for it made the people who wanted to prove that Christianity was right, they went searching in the Middle East. You start seeing this searching, and they trying to find all this history about Christianity and, Adam and Eve, and it's nothing there. They start going to Europe. At the time of the Age of Enlightenment, it's also a racist time, and they come up with it's racist, and at the top waist, we the white people, we the shit. And so they start looking in Europe for fossils and stuff. The dude, Darwin, tell them that the shit probably gonna be found in Africa. That's where the origin gonna be. And they went primal. Primal is original. Prime steak is the beginning. They flipped that and went primal is something negative. And if y'all close to the apes, and then some kind of way through evolution, we became white. We became human when we white. Less than that is the Asians. They played that scale with how they was dealing with it. As the further they search, more people came out and said, no, it's gonna be, the origin, it ain't gonna be no polygenic shit. It's gonna be some one thing. And Diop was the one who saw it that we hear about. But when they came out with their genome project and dealing with DNA proved without a matter of fact where the original Homo sapien came from, where all the origins of humanity. That conversation that we was having earlier. The origin of humanity, and humanity starts in Africa, if that makes sense. When they start dealing with them prototypes that they connect to humanity, because some of them hominids is not a part of the human family.
Exactly.
Everything not part of our.
Exactly.
So sometimes we get that twisted, or people get that misinformation, and either they'll reject it all because it'll be like, I ain't no ape, and that's not what they're saying. Not all.
No. But see, and that, you're right.
And America did that way back in 1925 with the scopes, or the monkey scope. Yeah, they didn't want evolution being taught because they was playing on it on some misinformation type of shit.
Yeah, they had to try to find themselves in history, man. They were trying to find themselves, and they tried really hard, like you say, to align that story with creation. That shit didn't work. So they said, we got to go look for the truth, man. We got to go find it. But who were they finding the truth for? What was their mission? What was their mission to go to once they proved the church wrong, they were, in some cases, they was going to be dealt with if they come back with that. So what was their rationale behind that? And, that's what I'm saying. Other than just hate? Is it hate? Is it?
When we dealing with some of that information we were starting with tonight with the Albert Church Wars and the Gerald Masses, they were them dudes was super anti-Christian, anti-religious.
Well, you had Alvin Boyd Coombe. Alvin was a Christian. Alvin grew up in the church.
Right. And then
Alvin started, but he started studying himself. He had to go outside of that. He had to go outside of what they was talking about.
Most people that are anti-Christians were lovers of Christian first. Most people that go against it, they were fully into it, and they're like, I was tricked. What the hell? And they go hard against it.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but even with Alvin, what was his motivation? What was his motivation to come back and say, no, I ain't got this right, and start writing books, speaking out against this most powerful entity of the time, the Roman Catholic Church? What was his motivation? What would he put his? Because first of all, if you were a writer at that time and you got dissed by the other writers at the time, that could end your career. In some cases, if you were trying to feed yourself, you got to eat first. So I wonder, what was his motivation and who was behind it, and was it just like an underground thing? A lot of people was driven by men. No, this shit don't sound right. This shit just don't add up. And then
the people he was connected to, they had already went out on a limb. For some reason, he was still drawn to him. He didn't run away from them. So those people that you are attracted to, and that fits your style, you're gonna do your part when it's your turn. Like I say, they all a part of that same line. They all white, and they all talked about the things that Black people love, and we won't even listen to them on that level. They telling us about it, and we, some people feel okay with telling the truth as they see it, and will pay the price.
Right. Yeah, because that's true. Because you had a lot of radicals who was speaking out against that, male and female, white but mainly male. But yeah, they for some reason that didn't sit well with them, either because it was such a oppressive style of government and they justified it through the church, um, or because it just didn't line, it didn't add up. The story just sounded childish. The story itself sounded so juvenile that real thinkers and scholarly people who they were trying to get to accept this, these people had already went to university and shit like that. But when you got to this church thing, it didn't make logical sense to them. So these learned people said, man, I'm smarter than that. You're not going to sell me. You can tell this layman who ain't been to school, who ain't been that fourth grade, you can tell them people that shit and tell them to justify letting them put on some uniforms and go fight your wars. But goddamn it, I bet you ain't finna tell me and my sons that shit. You lying. God didn't tell me to go kill these people just because you want their land. How about that? So it took somebody who knew something already, had more mind to reason to not accept that ignorant shit.
That's right.
That's what it always falls on.
And they get it from other white people. These white folks, they getting it from. They ain't getting it from no other folk. They getting this Christianity from their own folk. And they said, no, man, you know, I don't give a fuck what you talking about. That shit don't add up. You didn't care what you say. I don't care how tight we are in the church or who we can do. We ain't rolling with that one, Jack. And that's it is out there. So
that enlightenment came with them not being indoctrinated no more.
Right.
So the enlightenment came with the writing, with the writing press. Once they was able to read that shit themselves, because under the way that they go tell you anything. Once you can read, you're gonna see contradictions. Either you're gonna act like you don't see that contradiction, or you're gonna question it.
Right, exactly.
Now, if you question it, and the people telling you a sinner just for questioning it or for thinking, that it just depends on which way you're gonna go after that. If you get punished for just questioning it, some people can punish you for questioning it. So it depends on how you being treated for wanting to know, you know.
And how many resources you got and how much, what status you got in the community to be able to do your own research, and ain't nobody gonna sweat you for it. You got somebody funding you to go over there, you spending money, take you a ship ride and whatever. But they had their network, I'm sure, because they got the work done. And Church Ward, Gerald Massey, Leakey, they got the work done. And these guys were professionals in their field before they went to find this information out. See, you couldn't.
I'm gonna say one last thing too before I get off. Sometimes when we got to look back at some of the Egypt stuff, and you got to be clear. Some of them are telling the truth. Some of them I'm gonna let you know which side they're on. But at the time, when you're dealing with the old, claiming Egypt, some of those white people, when they bigging up Egypt, they saying that the Egyptians are white. You with me? At that time,
I don't know who them are. I wouldn't even listen to nobody talking no shit like that.
Right.
No, Church would tell you they Africans. Them is black Africans. And he tell you they came from
the beginning.
They came from the little bitty people called the Twa.
Right.
Yeah, that's the direction Church war coming from. And with signs and symbols of primordial man, and man, yeah, them totems that we were talking about earlier. I got the book on all that. He got the actual pictures of them folks stuff. No, he went to the source. He went to the source, and he didn't give a damn. And he said in his book, I don't give a damn who I upset. I know it's going to upset some of my own brethren. And when he said the word brother, he wasn't talking about layman. He's talking about his brotherhood brothers. Shit. And he said, he said, I know. He said, with those who are trying to further their knowledge in this is the direction you want to go. And anybody who is trying to be a teacher should be teaching their students this. That lets you know who his audience was. I mean, he speaks right to it. He tells you in his opening, I'm speaking to the council of this, that, and the third. Shit. So his value had to be of either using the information to empower their organization or to use the information So because the organization as it stood was supposed to be of God. You had to be of the Christian faith, this, that, and the third. But I think he starts saying, "Oh, y'all, we got to have that real fight because they playing. No, this shit, what we doing is a little bit deep. We need to be a little bit deep in that. Whatever made him do it, but when he brought that information back, I don't think at the time it was writing, that book is probably 100 years old, almost 100 years old. I think at the time of him writing that book, he had an audience. In order to be sanctioned to get that book published and all that, you had to have somebody wanting to listen to it, buy it, and support it. So he had an audience. Now the question is, who was the audience? And what was their agenda? It surely wasn't to liberate me or you. No, they had an agenda. They had an agenda for sure. But that took some time to collect the kind of information that that volume, 2 volume, Ancient Egypt, the Light of the World, that probably took, I'm sure he was probably over 20 years research doing that, if not longer. And I could be wrong with that, but that covers a lot of information. So whatever hey, I don't know who, and I don't know too many people who have Petri stuff lined up with that. These guys, Raul and Declan, line up with that. I don't know who too many people who don't line up with what them cats saying on the archaeological tip. You got that dude who they banned out of, not really banned, but Masawi, Lord, Middle Eastern looking dude who called himself doing Egyptian history. But I don't know who out there doing that, who saying nothing, who got something different to say. I don't know, but I'll keep looking. I'll keep searching, brother.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll keep searching. But yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna get off this phone, off this hip too, man. I got it hit it in the morning.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get off too, man.
All
Hey,
right.
man. Good Bill King. Nice,
Yeah.
right? Family, thanks for joining us, man. We did this for y'all real quick on Friday. Join us Sunday at 2:00 p.m. Hey, it's going down. And, right before the Super Bowl, fam. We're gonna do a quick one. All right. So join us. Like, subscribe, share. Give us a couple of comments. Let us know what you think. Come on in if you want to, and join us, man. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and we just hope to see y'all Sunday, man. Come on in, bring a friend. All right. What y'all think, man? Tell them about it.
Yeah, man, it was interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that, man. Come on over Sunday, man. We got another one for you. Thanks for participating to the panel.
Brother
Don't forget,
Paul Black Love.
don't forget to educate them kids, man.
That's right. Gerald, you want to speak to him?
Black Paul Black Love. Get y'all Sunday if y'all make it. Good bill tonight.
Yeah. And Eric, you want to say something, King?
It's always a pleasure to deal with your brothers. Let's keep it going, man. I know we'll get there.
All
We're
right,
gonna get
man.
there.
That's right, man. Hey, man. Thanks, man. Y'all always kill the game, man. Appreciate y'all, man.